We are outside Yorkshire's ticket office. We advise you to buy your tickets in advance, but alternatively, you can come here on the day. If buying tickets in advance, please visit yorkshireccc.com/tickets. Once you've purchased your ticket, you can make your way to our club shop, where we have merchandise. We're on St Michael's Lane, and we have shirts for Yorkshire, Northern Diamonds, Superchargers and England. Look out for our Yorkies. They'll be wearing these gorgeous pink t-shirts and they'll be able to assist you with anything you need. We have two entrances to the ground, one on St Michael's Lane and one on Kirkstall Lane. If you're interested in the history and heritage of this great club, be sure to visit the Yorkshire Cricket Museum here in the East Stand. Also in the East Stand we have multi-faith facilities. If you're wondering about where to sit in the ground, blocks A and B are for your loud, passionate, die-hard fans, and you may even see some fancy dress. If you still want to be part of the atmosphere but want a calmer experience, the community stand is perfect for you. There's no alcohol permitted here, making it a great area for families. For more information on seating areas, please visit yorkshireccc.com. We have numerous accessibility areas around the stadium, such as this one in the East Stand. Please visit our match day information section on the website, or alternatively contact the ticket office. Here at Yorkshire County Cricket Club, we have a zero tolerance policy for antisocial behaviour. If you feel like you're a victim of antisocial behaviour, please text the word RESPECT to 60650. We have a wide range of food and drink around the ground. If you need information about dietary requirements, please visit the Matchday information section on our website.
The big fella, Matthew Revis, bang that ball into the pitch as he does. First delivery, it's turned round the corner. Jordan Thompson trying to chase it down out there in the deep. Revis in from the coastal lane, cheeky so-and-so. That's been levered up in the air. It's going straight to the hands of the man at third man. Yorkshire, though, the other way around. As Rutherford's got underneath this one, Jordan Thompson running round to try and catch it and takes a comfortable catch in the end. This one lofted in the air, and this surely should be an easy catch for Adam Lythe, and is. And a third Leicestershire wicket has gone. 1415, something like that, with Harry Brook. Now then, Shadab's bowled this one. It's underneath it is Lewis Hill, and he's got it away. Shading again. Sweep, missed. Appeal for LBW, and given. Shadab in again. Now then, he's gone underneath this one, Ackerman. And is it going to have the legs to make it to the boundary? It does. It's gone on 8.8 in 12 previous matches. He's going to go for 4 of those 8.8 here because Ackerman
comes into ball to Patel.
who steps right across the offside, and he's hoisted that one miles away over the east side boundary. And kept wickets in the 10th. Very, very important partnership. Now he's got underneath this one, but it is such a short boundary away to our left over long off. And look at this. This has gone miles again out into the east side boundary by Patel, who really has got the hang of what Shadab Khan's got to offer, and that's an expensive 4 overs with a dot. No, he can't, because Ackerman's got underneath this one and he's smashed it straight back over Rouse head. So what an over it was looking like it was going to be. Yorkshire, of course, beating Worcestershire and then tying with Lancashire on Friday. And he's got a nick on this one. Ackerman has been caught behind by Tom Kohler-Cadmore off Jordan Thompson for 56. Patel steps away, smashes that one towards long off, and Adam Lyth, who's been really good on the boundary, just stopping and saving runs, takes a very comfortable catch. He's ready, and Thompson's in, bowling a slow one here. He's got this straight up in the air, and this should be an easy Joe Root catch. He makes a few yards scurrying in.
Way through this second over, and this is in the air on the offside, and again, is this going to clear the rope? Yes, I think it does. It does indeed, not by much. Rides on 24, and this is in the air, and it's caught. Oh, a soft looking dismissal in the end. A catch out there at extra cover. Naveen Ulhak bowling now, and that's edged and caught, and it's the end of Kohler-Cadmore. Well, he did look awkward, and now he's going to look awkward making his way off the field. Next delivery, that's pulled around the corner, nicely played by Milan. It's a man up inside the circle here, but next delivery shot. That's a beautiful shot, glorious drive there through extra cover. Beauty from Milan.
On 17, gives Mike the charge, and he's going to get out here. He's going to be caught, and he is caught. And a change of bowling. Rian Ahmed back into the attack and smashed for 6 over mid-wicket. That's gone a long way off the bat of David Milan. On the 13th over on 13 previous occasions and taken 6 wickets, and that's been hoisted away by Milan into the deep with a mid-wicket area. There was a 37 deliveries, I think it was, but he's gone the very next ball, a top edge to Naveen, who's caught that just inside the circle, and Milan for around 50. Winning first innings score as well. Short ball, that's 6 runs from the moment it left the bat. Harry Brook with an uppercut for 6. Seeing if you watched him play this format again regularly, and he gets right across and he's gone. So he's chased a wide one. Thompson again. This time he plays the pull. It's in the air, but going towards the fielder, and he's gone. He's pulled it straight to the man coming in from the mid-wicket boundary. They need to win this, and just 12 balls left. Naveen bowling to Brook, who's levered it out towards long off and will be caught. Naveen, slower ball, holds it back. Bess has driven it straight back to the bowler. Desperate disappointment against Durham. He's certainly got one here, and Revis has been caught behind first ball of the last over. This delivery by Roman Walker, which is missed by Harris Ralph once again, and that is it. Yorkshire finish on 157 for the loss of 9 wickets on a disappointing day for the Vikings. 30-metre circle
no idea
during
where
that
to aim.
time. And here's Kerr, left arm over the wicket for the first ball of the night, and it's a wicket. Here, once again, is Kerr, and Shadab tries to scoop over the top and scoops it no further. As Collins comes in, right arm over the wicket, and that's hammered over the top of extra cover, 2 bounces. Collins then coming in again. Short ball, bang, 6 runs. Willie wanders down the pitch and smashes this one, but he's going to be a little bit apprehensive, surely, coming in and doing that again. And he has bowled it, and he's in a drop catch at short fine leg. It's going to be 4 run. And, David Milan steps right across outside off stump and pulls this, and he's pulled it into a gap just short of being 6. Oh, it's gone for 6. Jackson having to bring in his match referee, and that's a good delivery by Connors, you've got to say. 65 for 2, and he might get a wicket out of it from having done so. It's made a bit of a meal of it as the fielder coming round from mid-wicket, but 77. Not 54 deliveries. It's a short ball. It's pulled by Will Frayne, and that's gone all the way for 6. Staying over the wicket to both his left hands, and he's been pulled here, and that will be 4. Here is ball number 5. It's full, it's lofted, it's going to be 4 more. Actually, he's played so far. He's rolling right arm over the wicket, he's been lofted. Skyward out towards the backward square, run out, picks up here, and he's gone. And in comes Revis, he's been pulled this time, and that's backward of square leg. So 1 on total, an extra delivery to be bowled here, and that is wide of off stump as well, and going to be 6 over long on. So again, going to be there or thereabouts between them. Masood's got this one away, they're going to make a 50 mark now because he's swung that away. Towards that double-handed ball carry. Now then, he's going to go for runs here, and he's going to go for 6 of them. For his team, no, not on this occasion because he's just been reverse swept. Rashid, Masood steps away. He's got a top edge on this, and that will be all it takes to run away and make it to the boundary.
Willian again then comes in and bowls, and that's a thick edge. It's gone wide of the keeper, who's standing quite a way back, Johnny Tattersall, and it's gone between him and Adil Rashid and up to the rugby stand end.
There's Clark facing on 10, and he's lifted this one high and over the top of the man at mid-off. To bowl in his first delivery, and it's 34 for no wicket. That's in the air. This could be a catching opportunity. It is, and it's taken. And the square leg boundary. It creates a little bit of room, flies past, good attempt at the catch out there mid-wicket, but that was it with some force from Clark.
They're all in fancy dress. Slog sweep and 6.
Comes in now and bowls, use the feet, high and mighty, and a long way. Breaks. Going to come in and bowl to Robinson now. Left arm, this is in the air on the offside. It's going to fall the right side of the boundary for Durham. That's a 6. And Drakes is back in and bowling now. This has been swatted away again for 4. That's extra cover. Try and get a win here for Yorkshire this evening. This is in the air again. Could be a catching opportunity, and it is. What can he do this evening? He's on 6. Whoa. Now he's gone very big away on the leg side over mid-wicket. And although the fielder will look for it, just needs to be a little bit careful. Betting on 13. Rashid bowls to him now. A little bit quicker into the pads. LBW out.
New over and a leg stump Yorker, which I'm not really sure what guard Robinson thought he'd taken there.
In his right arm, tall figure, in and bowls straight in the air, and it's going to be, well, let's wait and see what they signal. Now he's on 4 in the 16th over. This is in the air, high, mightily and straight. Which level this time? It is the top level.
2 cars he bowls, and that's in the air out towards the cover boundary and gone. And he's driven that a long way.
And he's in again. Bowls, this time it's in the air and caught. Placed there perfectly, but
2005. Thompson into bowl, and Drakes takes a good diving catch. Thompson in, and that's a slog sweep out towards the west stand boundary for 6. Just beats the man on the ropes, who's Finale. Comes in to bowl the final ball. Oh, and he's bowled himself. He's played it on there. Exley tried to ram the ball that shouldn't have been rammed, and it's gone onto his leg stump. He's got himself out. Drakes in, pulled deep out to the mid-wicket boundary for 6 by Andrew Tye. He's 4 for 44 against Durham last year. A hook by, that's off the back of the bat, I think, there from Ty.
I think it's just going down.
Carson bowls, and this is driven back over the top for six. Well, what can Carson do in response? It's a short one, and that's six more. That's going to go on the ground over the western terrace. It has.
In that stand. Next to Liffey, it's gone in that direction. No, it hasn't. It's off to the kennel again.
Ties in again. That's a full toss down the left side for six. Allen is on 29. And this is up in the air. Should be out here. Travaskis is underneath it at mid-off and takes a catch.
Yep.
The left-hander Lythe sweeps in that direction, and there's nobody out there, and it's gone for four. Cast to Lythe, he bowls. Lythe drills it in the air. He's got it safely over the covers and away. 4-4. 64 in the semi-final and 87 in 2016, so it's his fourth. That's a little lob up into the air, down towards third man.
That's
six.
Lythe on 63. This has gone in the air. It's gone long way. It's 6.
Durham point of view as Rain comes in and bowls, and that's up in the air, and this should be out. Ties around there and takes a simple catch, and that is the end.
Willie on 17. Big! Oh, so big! He looked at his umpire, he looked at his colleague before he signalled that.
Raskis again, this is in the air, and that's gone out to cow corner for 6.
Brooks on 4. In bowls, shorter in the air. Is it going to be caught? Yes, it is. Team here now. Frayne picks that up well, beautifully. It's 4 runs. Right arm to the right-handed Frayne. It's in the air. There's a man under it. Will he be able to take the catch? Let's have a look. Can he? Yes, he can.
Travaskis to Willie. He's going to hit it with a 6.
That's a 6.
Over, long, on, and into the stand, and they win quite comfortably. Durham couldn't defend 207, and explosive batting from Yorkshire.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome your umpires, Paul Baldwin and James Smith.
Good evening and welcome from Headingley Stadium for this T20 Blast clash between Yorkshire Vikings and the Nottinghamshire Outlaws, who've had the wood over the home side for several years now. 2017 the last time that Yorkshire managed to win one of these matches between these two sides, either home or away, and there have been some pretty crushing defeats along the way as well. So Viking supporters hoping for a change of heart tonight, and of course well, the Nottinghamshire Outlaws hoping to maintain the status quo. Jonathan Doidge with you throughout with ball-by-ball coverage, along with Kevin Howells, who'll be joining us as well from BBC Radio 5, and also sitting alongside is Northern Diamonds legend Katie Levick. The Lev is back, and looking forward to another cracker, Katie.
Yeah, certainly. Glad to be back, and kept an eager eye on how the Yorkshire boys have been going in the last couple of games, and I'm hoping for some more fireworks tonight. And
the news is, and if you're watching you'll be able to have seen that anyway, Yorkshire batting first. It was actually Nottinghamshire who won the toss and have put them in. We'll talk about the use of substitutes, batsmen retiring for one reason or another in the match last night. involve one of these sides. Yorkshire, of course, on a high after that win here on Friday night against Durham, when Adam Lyth was on fire. Finn Allen smashed the ball to all parts, and they'll be hoping for much the same again. So, looking like Matt Carter is going to open the bowling here for the Outlaws, and Finn Allen is the man on strike. Two umpires tonight, James Middlebrook and Paul Baldwin. And here is Carter bowling to Allen, who works it to mid-on first up. And there's no run. Adam Lyth, of course, at the non-striking end. Two men outside the circle. Way out on the east side boundary. At a straightish mid-wicket. There's been a fumble to that second ball in the covers, which means they've come through for a single they shouldn't have had. The other man outside the circle was at deep backward square. The field will change there now because, of course, Adam Lyth's on strike following the single, so deep backward square and mid-wicket being sent out on the other side, the western side of the ground. One without loss.
Solid start.
As I say, Yorkshire, terrible recent record against this opposition. They'd love to rewrite that tonight. Here's Carter in for ball number 3, and Lyth works it up towards mid-on and will pick up a single. Looks a good pitch as well, Lev.
Yeah, it looks like a new one, not as used as the other ones we've seen so far, and they usually play quite nice here, and they certainly have so far this season.
Just two to the left, to the east side of the what looks like in the test strip that's covered. As they're playing fairly central then, and Allen just drops that one out backward of point for no run. So one apiece so far. Pretty good start from Matt Carter, bowling from the Howard stand end. And he comes again, right arm round the wicket and worked out once more to straight mid-wicket by Allen, who will dot the bat down the far end for a single. The floodlights are on, but there's no actual need for him at the moment. Just on, of course, because things will dim as the evening wears on. Cut-off time for this innings then. First innings 7:43 at this stage as Lyth rocks back to this latest Carter delivery. That's a beautiful cut shot for 4.
Yeah, trademark Lyth there, just give himself a little bit of room and cut that way through the packed offside field. He'll be happy to get a boundary in that over. Carter had done well until that point and kept it low. Just 7 conceded from the over.
So difficult, isn't it? Bowling when you're tight, you think that we're going to get there, and then that last ball just lets you down.
Yeah, it's so important. We talk a lot about getting in and out of your over, and now that first ball and last ball are so important for the momentum for your partner at the other end as well, to try and give them a bit of something to go into. But it's still a steady over from Carter. Won't be too disappointed to just concede the 7 runs. Now,
team news-wise, there is a change for Yorkshire because Dominic Bess is carrying a little bit of a niggle. A leg niggle, and so Jack Shutt is back in the side for Yorkshire this evening in this form of the game. Otherwise it's as you were. Those who've been asking, by the way, about Tom Kohler-Cadmore, missing last week as well, has suffered a little bit of a setback with regard to that head injury they had earlier in the season, that concussion problem, so we wish Tom well and hope he's back soon. It's going to be Samit Patel, left arm round the wicket for the first over at the Kirkstall lane end to the right-handed Allen, who works it up to long on for a single.
Yeah, and of course Patel, the man in the discussion point last night as a retired out batter. But interesting to see if we see any of those tactics employed again this evening.
Yeah, you would think that now that somebody's set the precedent, we're going to see more of that as Patel's in, and Lyth all the time in the world to step away and pull that in controlled fashion out to mid-wicket. They're going to get back for 2.
That was really slow from Patel, just a bit too short as well. I would Lyth to rock back and wait for it and pull it away into those boundary riders out on the leg side.
Here he comes again between umpire James Middlebrook and the stumps, left arm round. Not a major pivot, is it, by Patel? You often see bowlers do that to get that extra pivot in. Lyth works it out to mid-wicket. 1 run. Samit Patel was in the com box with us at Trent Bridge last year in the 4-dayer at one stage. Good fun, great sense of humour. He's been a very good player, hasn't he? In this form of the game, outstanding for a long, long time.
Yeah, always one of those players that seems to just make something happen, whether it's with bat or with ball. He's been a real competitor over the years.
Alex Hale's just been moved out to deep mid-off, deep long-off, deep mid-off even, sorry. He's not quite at long-off, he's not quite right out nailing the boundary edge, but he's very deep. And Allen just works the ball up towards him, so good use of the field by Patel. It'll change again. Almost like he's conducting an orchestra out there, the bowler. 2 to come in the over. Adam Lyth tries to come down and use his feet, and then he's checked in doing so, and he plays it out square on the offside. There's no run.
Yeah, the Notts fielders are really hugging that ring and not letting anything get through.
Patel again floats one up, it's full, and played towards Hales, who's come up inside the circle to field that, but can't prevent the single to Lyth. So end of the over, he's on 9, Allen on 4, 13 without loss, 7 from the first, 6 from the second. Positive start.
Yeah, a measured start from the Yorkshire boys. Went out all guns blazing from ball 1 the other night, and looks like they're just a bit wary of this early spin attack from the Notts team that they know can do so much damage. Important to try and keep some wickets in hand in this power play, and these two are destructive batters.
Jake Ball coming into the attack then at the Howard stand end of the ground. I mentioned that recent run of form between the sides. Last 3 matches that have actually taken place between them have been at Trent Bridge. In fact, 4 of the last 5 have. Yep, they've all been won by Notts. 10 wickets down at Trent Bridge in July 2021. 6 wickets with 4 balls to spare. A little bit closer in COVID year 2020. 3 runs at Trent Bridge in 2019. 8 wickets with an over to spare here in August 2018. And 63 runs at Trent Bridge in August of 2018. That's been the recent last 5 between the two, as Jake Ball's first delivery is dispatched out through extra cover in fine style by Adam Lyth, who moves on to 13.
Yeah, almost dismissive there from Lyth, just stood there and just put his hands straight through it and sent it flying through that offside. No one in the ring had any chance of getting anywhere near that. It's a glorious shot.
Lyth then in tremendous form on Friday night. Can he follow suit here? He's got that away down to 3rd man, but there is one of the 2 outside the circle down there. Nicely played cut shot. He's on to 14 already. 18 without loss when they update it on the board. Lyth's record against right arm fast medium, 1,073 from 615 deliveries. That's just an incredible strike rate for the amount of time he's played the game. 174.47.
Wow, to keep that up throughout his lengthy career is some achievement. It shows you how well he's done in this format of the game.
But positively pedestrian by comparison to this man, Finn Allen. 713 runs off 372 deliveries against right-arm fast-medium bowlers. 191.67 strike rate before this innings began, and he's just worked another one here off his legs, and it is in fact leg byes for 4.
Yeah, Ball would be disappointed with that. He managed to tuck him up on his hip. Allen didn't look wholly comfortable, and he's managed to somehow just get something on it to race past Fletcher at that short 45 position.
Jake Ball then, what can he do to counter this pair, dangerous pair? 22 without loss, Allen on strike. In comes Ball, that's gone a long, long way. He's pulled that over square leg for 6, and it was 6, Lev, from the moment it left the bat.
That was massive. I couldn't tell if he was going higher or further, as it's bounced away down the concourse. Massive shot. That was always going for 6, and they're really on top of this ball over the first couple of balls. Got to make sure Jake Ball's now got to think about what he's going to do. Right hand, left hand combos. Unstuck him so far, and yeah, brutal shot there from Allen, straight into the stands.
Jake Ball, he's had a bit of success bowling the 3rd over of innings previously. He's gone at 8.6, but he's taken 7 wickets from 27 attempts, but he's going to go for 6 more here. Finn Allen, he just gets so deep in the crease, doesn't he? And he's pulled that again, this time a little bit further in front of square, but not a lot in it, and a very similar shot to last time. And they're going here, the Vikings, 34 without loss.
Yeah, disappointing. Someone put it down in the crowd there, but it's slightly shorter from ball, but same result from Allen. Just putting his hands through that into that leg side boundary. He's making it look very short when it's actually quite even all the way around. And the fielders can only watch it sail over the head so far.
Here comes the ball again then. Goes full. A big appeal for LBW. He's got him. So Allen's resistance is ended. 16 in quick time, but he's got to go. It just struck him, looked like it was in front of off stump by the looks of the way it's shaved off the edge of the pad and made its way down through third man to the boundary. And so 34 for 1 after precisely 3 overs.
It looked like he just stepped across there to try and work it into the same area he'd done the last 2 sixes, but ball, well done to him. Stuck at it this over. It's not been easy. He's been tested. He's gone around the park a little bit, but stuck to his plans, got it right up there, and the umpire did not hesitate at all to put his finger up.
And David Willett, of course, I missed my first ever commentary match on Friday night, and having seen him struggle to get it off the square last Wednesday, or Tuesday, whenever it was, the prior game anyway here at Headingley against Derbyshire, Tuesday, wasn't it? He just went mad himself, I think, on Friday night. All the stuff that he couldn't quite time on Tuesday, he appeared to do on Friday. So an excellent knock from the Yorkshire skipper as he is in this form of the game, and he'll be on strike. So an all left-hand combi. He won't be on strike, in fact, because of course it was the last ball of the over. So it's Adam Lythe who's going to be facing Matt Carter, who's back into the attack but switching ends to the Kirkstall Lane end.
Yeah, I followed along the last game on the scorecard. It looked like Willie got off to quite a slow start in comparison to Lythe, but he quickly made up for that.
So Lythe waits and gets a delivery that's an angled down leg side. Probably would have missed down leg had he decided to step away from it. They've got a single from it though, so a little bit of an inside edge. 35 for 1. They made 21, by the way, off that third over, so an excellent over for the Vikings. As Willie takes guard, then prepares for his first delivery. Open stance, characteristic open stance, and Carter over the wicket. And the ball pushed back to the bowler. Matt Carter, not easy to get him away. Year on year, as Willie turns this one into the leg side, and they pick up a single. Carter has taken 5 wickets when bowling over number 4 in 10 previous matches doing so, and going at just over 1 a ball. And considering power play territory, that's an excellent effort from him. Here he is bowling right arm round the wicket, and Lythe cuts that out into the covers. They'll pick up 1 more, so they're running it round and then trying to pick up the boundaries when they can. Will they be able to maintain the progress that they'd started in over number 3? Or will it be stymied by the loss of Finn Allen? Willie just drops it into the leg side, having a look for a moment, keeping the scoreboard ticking.
Yeah, good over from Carter so far. He's sticking to his plans. He's bowling stump to stump, and he's making it difficult for these Yorkshire batters to get him away.
Mixed bag for Yorkshire in the competition so far, of course. As Carter is in again, that's a beautiful shot. That really is a lovely shot by Adam Lythe. It's just all about placement as much as anything, really. Floated up there by Carter, and he's almost chipped it over the top of the bowler. Didn't hit it too hard. Hasn't sort of risked getting under it and levering it up in the air, and he's picked up 4 runs.
Yeah, it was just sort of a short-armed punt back down the ground, and it was 4 as soon as it left the bat. Again, Carter bowls a good over and just slips at the last ball and goes for a boundary. But he's still done a good job to maintain these Yorkshire batters in the power play. It's not an easy thing. We saw how Allen went destructive against the seam in the previous over, so I think Notts will still be quite happy with this start.
Yeah, 2 overs for 15 for Carter. Jake Ball went for 17, didn't he, in his first 5 deliveries of the previous over from the Howard stand end, and then got the vital wicket, perhaps, who knows, in the outcome of this one, of Finn Allen. And he's going to continue, Jake Ball, for over number 5 then, at the Howard stand end. So I mentioned mixed bag for Yorkshire. Won the first game here against Worcestershire, tied at Old Trafford against Lancs, lost against both Leicestershire and Derbyshire, and then beat Durham on Friday. 5 points from 5 so far as Willie drives this first ball of the over back past Jake Ball. Fielded by Hales, they get a single. And Notts last 5. Well, they also beat Worcestershire. No result against Northamptonshire, lost to Lancs, beat Derbyshire, and then lost to Birmingham most recently. So not as consistent as you'd normally have them down for so far, the Outlaws. Yorkshire, well, we're used to that inconsistency, you'd have to say. As ball is in, and Lythe just leans away and thinks about a ramp shot. Wasn't far away from feathering it through to the keeper.
Yeah, the first bit of short stuff we've seen from anyone tonight, and made a bit of indecision in Lythe. He wasn't sure whether he wanted to try and lift it up and over or leave it go past, and in the end, decision was made for him, so he missed it.
Here comes ball again, running pretty much directly towards where I am, and that's a beautiful delivery which has taken out Adam Lythe's off stump, and Yorkshire have lost a second. Difficult to tell whether he played inside it or went through the gate there, but I just saw a stump unceremoniously dumped on the ground, and Adam Lythe's not going to be giggling because he's gone ball by ball for 20 off 13 deliveries.
I think Lythe was just as surprised as we were there. He couldn't quite believe that his off stump had gone cartwheeling, and stared down Jake Ball a little bit as to suggest, what have you done there then? Something's happened when this pitch has been offering not all that much support for the bowlers so far, but well bowled Jake Ball. Just keeping Yorkshire quiet in this second over so far. And now Harry Brook to the crease.
Yep, bit of a boost that he's been released again as he was on Friday. Although, of course, on Friday, on a rare occasion this season, it wasn't all about that man. Can he swing that momentum back in his favour? So 2 down, first wicket to go, that of Finn Allen. The score was on 34 on the last ball of the 3rd over, and here we are halfway through the 5th. 43 for 2. And you know what they say about losing more than 2 in the power play. Statistics start to build against you in that respect. So Ball making his way in once again, and good delivery which nips or passes Brooks' outside edge, and then Tom Moores dives away to his left to recover it. So whether it nipped in on him or it swung after it went past, difficult to tell. But either way, Harry Brook beaten first ball. So scoring at 9.21 at the moment. That'd give them something to defend, but as we saw on Friday night, clearly want as many as they can possibly get here, because over 200 wasn't enough for Durham as Brook turns that one into mid-wicket to get himself off the mark. 44 for 2.
Yeah, Ball's figure's looking very healthy now. He's got 2 for 19 so far. 1 ball remaining in his second over, and to think he went for boundaries off his first few deliveries, and Finn Allen was putting him into the stands. He's done well here to pull that back, and he's doing his team a very good job so far.
And a slip being brought in now. Attacking cricket from the Outlaws. It's Matt Carter who's coming alongside Moores, and here comes Ball. And that is straight and whipped through, a beautiful shot, whipped through mid-wicket by Willie. And he really did time that, and it's split really the strips away to the right, straight down the middle, and 4 runs to finish the over. A few words from Katie, and then with the first spell of commentary from the evening from Kevin Howells.
Yeah, lovely shot there from Willie, just to flick him off his legs through that leg side region before. Ball had bowled a very good over so far, and it kept the Yorkshire batters quiet, picked up a wicket. But Yorkshire will be happy to swing the momentum back in their favour a little bit again, and it's 48 for 2, 5 gone, 1 remaining in the power play.
Now, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
Well, I was disappointed for you at the weekend.
Oh, thank you.
But, you know, Northampton is a bit overrated in June, to be honest. Do you not think? Surely there's somewhere nice you can be, isn't
Agreed, yeah. I've put that to favour, and I'm going on holiday as well, so...
Good on you.
Yeah.
That's
Who
the
wants
spirit.
to be in Northampton?
That's the spirit. Well, that's the spirit, yes. I hope you won't say that at the weekend, but I'm happy for you to say it tonight. Brooke is on 1 for... Oh, Fletch... I was ready for you, Fletch. You could have kept going, my friend. But anyway, he pulls out. Don't say he's going to sub himself before he's bowled his first delivery of the night. Hey, what have you been following that?
I saw it on Twitter in the aftermath, and interesting tactic, and I'm here for it, to be honest.
Oh, my gosh. Are you really?
I mean, as a batter that I can imagine would get subbed out for a faster runner, I can understand.
Don't be putting yourself down like that. Don't be putting yourself down. The Vikings 48 for 2. Now we can get the 6th over underway. Final over of the power play. Fletcher, of course, in for Pattinson, the Outlaws this evening. And that is a single for Brooke. He moves to 2, and the Vikings up to 49 for 2 in the 6th over. Yeah, if you're just joining us, unfortunately, the Diamonds didn't make it to finals day at the weekend. But for those that are not there, June's a lovely time for taking a bit of a break. And you're going to do just that. You enjoy that. But I want to come back to this subs business that was all the rage yesterday. In the match between Birmingham and the Outlaws. David Woody is on 7 hammers. Well, he tried to hammer that. Gosh, he put so much into that. Got so little out of it. Just didn't get it timed at all onto the onside. But basically yesterday, Carlos Brathwaite at some point in the innings decides that he's struggling a little bit against spin. Alex Davis can do better against spin, and Davis comes out, knocks 18 off. Carlos retired himself out. He walked off, and then Samit Patel is standing at the non-strikers end. They need 2 to win, and he decides that a younger person coming on has got better chance of running those 2. Now, this is something that's actually been talked about for a little while now. You know, quite a lot actually. It actually happened in the IPL first. Willie on 7 and just pushes that straight and dashes through. Good running from Willie. He saw the opportunity there and called Brooke through. Brooke with his back to it. He just had to hope that his mate had got it right, or his captain, and he did, and they go through for 1 and brings up the 50. The Vikings are 50 for 2 midway through the 6th over. But yes, so they were, and let's be right about this. They are retiring themselves out, not retired, not out. Now, there's something that some batters will need to bear in mind if this is going to take off, because it does affect your averages. All the important averages. Fletcher in and bowls. Oh, and a lovely delivery, which gets between Brooke and his leg stump somehow through to the keeper. You know, we've had the subs introduced in the Big Bash. After 10 overs, a player can be taken off and somebody replaced. And from that moment on, really, people have been saying, well, why don't you do that? The rules say you can actually do it. As long as you're retired out and not retired not out, it can happen. And twice in the game yesterday between Birmingham and the Outlaws, of which Birmingham just squeezed home in the end, it did happen. And at the end of this over, I'm going to turn to the person who says she's all for it. Fletcher in and bowls. This is in the air behind square, and that's going to be a vacant area. 1 bounce inside the boundary rope, 4 runs. And Brooke released again by England to come and take part in the blast with the Vikings. With the Flames flying high to our right-hand side, moves on to 6 and take the Vikings to 54 for 2. Got 1 ball left of the power play. So the wickets column is, well, at 2 down. There's a small concern. I want to make sure it's not 3 down, because that is, as Jonathan mentioned earlier, dangerous territory here as Fletcher comes into Brooke. That's on the leg, well, I say on the leg stump, it's into his midriff basically. Running it into the batter, and he can't get it away, so he remains on 6, does Brooke. Willie on 8. Vikings 54 for 2 after 6 overs. There'll be plenty of time to talk about this game in a moment or two's time, but just the general idea of subbing.
Yeah, I mean, I said I'm all for it in terms of if I was batting, I would be happy for someone to come and do my running for me. But as a bowler, yeah, I'm not too pleased with it. I feel like it's an unfair advantage for the batters when you can be working on a great plan and you can be tying someone down like they were for Brathwaite the other night, and then he can just decide, actually, do you know what, I'll bring someone else in. I think it's an interesting tactic. It's interesting that the first time it was employed in the game, it was for 2 different reasons from the opposite teams, and they thought we need a faster run, and they all thought we need someone who can face spin better. But
yeah, but and that's it. You're a bowler,
yeah,
and you're realising that somebody actually doesn't fancy it, and they walk off
yeah.
to your bowling. How good does that make you feel? Eh?
Yeah, but then equally, you've not really won the battle, have you? You've been robbed of the opportunity.
This was the man causing the problems, Harrison, as the bowler, and he came on actually as the runner at the end as well. First delivery he bowls of the evening is worked away on the leg side by Willie, who moves to 9, and the Vikings 55 for 2 in the 7th over.
Yeah, it sort of takes the fun away from it. You're working hard to try and get a batter out, and then he just decides to walk off. It's sort of taken your pleasure away from you. As much as the batter's lost his red inker, you've also lost the opportunity to get him out.
Well, there are people saying, oh, they'll be clamping down on that, stopping. I'm not too sure as they will. I think as this next delivery is bowled, and Brook here, who just looks a little bit frustrated as he gets the one away for a single on the onside. It's an innovation. It's a bit of a tactical thing, and it's something which is. I mean, last night, in fairness, everybody was a bit puzzled by it, to be honest. So, but it needs to be explained to the crowd because they had no idea what was going off out there last night or yesterday. So that does need to be explained to the crowd. We're in the 7th over here, meantime. Willie on 9 and worked away leg side, and he'll dash through for 1. I saw vintage Dave Willie the other night. Whether we're going to see the same again tonight. Anyway, he gets a single. So, yeah, I think the authorities will think this is quite a good thing, you know.
And they'll be happy for the innovation. And they've not had to create a new rule necessarily.
Well, they haven't,
people
have they?
just employ it, yeah.
We'll see. Plenty of talk about it. Harrison in bowls to Brook. Brook this time. That's a better looking shot from Brook. A little bit more of a flourish. And he'll come back for 2. Willie running to the danger end, but he gets there. We've mentioned it before on this size ground, and here we're playing fairly central, a bit more central than we did on Friday night actually. You really have to, if you can, instead of those 1s, you make them 2s.
Yeah,
that's exactly what they did.
Very deep pockets, and you've got to try and pick up your 2s there. I think the Notts boys have seen that early, and they're sitting on the ring when they're in the ring.
Brook faces, and again, the last 2 shots have felt good. I don't know why I feel it up here, but they felt better for Brook, and he gets himself a single, and he moves to 10. They're both on 10 now, and the Vikings 60 for 2, 1 ball left of the 7th.
It's looked and sounded better as well. He seems to be finding the middle a bit more than he was in his first couple of deliveries.
Indeed, Lyth was out to the bowling of ball for 20. The last man out. Finn Allen before that. Now this is in the air. This could be dangerous out towards the boundary and just over the fielder. And it's going to be 6. Well, that was mightily close. I thought that was going to fall just into, I think it's Clark out there. I thought it was going to fall neatly into his hands, and I think he thought that for a time.
I think a taller fielder maybe would have, but he didn't seem to pick it up. He seemed to know movement, and it was going straight to him. And I'm not sure if he thought it was just hanging a bit more than it did in the end. And it's cleared him by not very much.
I think he did. Well, you know what to do. You need to sub yourself. He's too small. You need a taller person to sub him. Get him out there on the boundary. But that was close. That was close. It's a 6, so it's fantastic from the Vikings. They're 66 for 2. Willie moves to 16. Brook on 10. This partnership at 23, and Harrison with that 6 off that last ball. 1 over 12 runs, and Samit Patel, one of the few players who's been around since the word go. 20 years ago with the blast in, and again this is going to clear the boundary. Much safer this time. This is Brook who's joining in now. He certainly is seeing it better, feeling it better, hitting it better. A 6 for Brook, and Yorkshire starting to click along here now a little. That takes the score to 72 for 2 in the 8th over. And again, Patel around the wicket. This time on the offside. Is there a man down there? There is. It's Mulaney. He should be able to get round to it. Sliding stop, puts his left hand out. Good stop. And therefore they'll go through for 2. 74 for 2 now in this 8th over. Good atmosphere again tonight. Obviously, you know, the club would love it if more and more people were to come along, but you've got to acknowledge it's a Monday night and it's his first day back at school. If you Patel in the bowls and pushed into the offside. Yes, it's the first day back at school if you managed to get back through immigration quickly enough off your school holiday last week. By the way, I've had, talking of you and your holidays and taking a break, I've had somebody complaining already about us. Well, me, not you. Patel around the wicket. This is driven out into the offside, get a single. And he get 1 run, and the score moves up to 75 for 2.
Is it a Northants fan by any chance?
Look, all I was trying to do was I was just trying to say to Katie, look, there are other things, okay? There are other things you can be doing other than going to Northampton in June, yeah? That's all I was, isn't it?
Yeah, just consoling me.
This is in the air, and again it's another mighty strike with the bat. This time it's Willie. A 6, way over to our left-hand side here. At wide, long on. They know on this ground, because they experienced it themselves the other night, you need big runs. 6 for Willie, moves to 22, 81 for 2. 1 ball left to the 8th over. Back and hammers that along the ground this time. Perfect placement. It's a 4. Well, if Friday night was vintage, Willie, I don't know what we're going to call tonight, but he's off and running again, and he's got a great partner at the other end in Harry Brook. Could be really dangerous times, this for the Outlaws, but after 8 overs, 85 for 2, Willie on 26, Brook on 19. So just to clear that up, we were just consoling. We were looking for, I know what we were doing, we were taking the positives.
Silver lining. We were looking for the silver lining.
The Northern Diamonds couldn't make it through to the finals weekend, this coming weekend of the Charlotte Edwards, and therefore we were just saying, well, you know, it's a big world out there.
Yeah, bigger picture stuff.
So please do not be offended, Northampton. I could easily have said it about Manchester.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure where else, but you know, he says trying to gather a few local support. Brook is on 19. And here we've got Stephen Mullaney brought into the action fairly early on from Mullaney. In and bowls in the air again. It's been lifted, launched away by Brook for 6. Wow. It's got the crowd on their feet, and there's a lot of youngsters in tonight. And one thing I do need to mention, if Dodgie's not had a chance just yet, I'm sure he'll be talking about it a little bit later on as well. Quite a lot of younger people in, whether they be spectators, but some of them actually age group cricketers. From Yorkshire, from the camp. Brook is on 25, next delivery, and this one is cut. Lovely shot. Has he got that perfectly placed to the boundary? Oh my gosh, he has. It's a 4. So we're seeing this is the Brook that I love, Katie. It's the Brook who is just powerful, very damaging, destructive, but so skillful as well. And a lovely shot that cut finding the boundary.
It's just low risk shots, and he's getting full benefit for them, and it's just lovely to watch.
Move to 29. Oh, mind you, that's gone through everything. Batsman and the wicket keeper, and over the boundary rope. Well, they can't do anything right for wrong here at the moment. That's going to be 4, signalled as 4 byes by the umpire Baldwin. Well, this score is racing along now. It's 99 for 2. 4 leg byes, we've had 4 byes, total of 8 extras so far.
Yeah, you're disappointed there. If you're Mullaney, you've got the keeper up to try and cause some pressure, try and force a false shot from one of these two who's looking so in form, but it's raced through for 4 byes.
Partnership of 56, Mullaney in again, whipped away by Brook on the onside. And that one, just listening to them, didn't quite sound so good, but he still gets a 1. And the applause here for the 100 being brought up as well. Crowd loving it. Yeah, just quickly back to this age group. So my understanding is now, and somebody will quickly correct me if I'm wrong, because they always do, as Mullaney comes in and bowls edged along the ground, tumbling stop there from Samit Patel. They still go through for 1, 101 for 2. You see, I think you get free membership now if you're in the age group cricketers. So we're talking teenagers, that age. You get free membership, but tonight they're being invited along specially, and I think they might have a bit of a wander around the ground as well during the interval, which is going to be a lovely moment for them. And that one is cut down to the edge of the circle, and it's well stopped by Jake Ball actually. But it's 101 for 2 after 9 overs. Willie on 27, Brook on 30, a partnership of 58. When was your first visit to this iconic cricketing venue?
I don't know what age I was, but I remember watching Alan Donald and Kabir Ali bowling and thinking they're the quickest bowlers I've ever seen against Yorkshire, and I was sat
Willie's on 28, 111 for 2. Down the leg side, and another wide, this time the leg side wide. It's not going well for Fletcher.
No, he's not going too well with his right hand left hand combo, and he's trying a couple of things because his first few deliveries did get put into the stands. Tried to go wider, that wide Yorker tactic that gets employed so often in T20 cricket, but of course he went too wide, and now we've got the left hander on strike. He's not been able to adjust his lines. He's really got to try and think of something here to keep these two quiet.
He's a huffing and a puffing. He had a great week last week with Nottingham Forest. That's his football club, and he's back here for the Outlaws. He's bowling now to David Willey. Oh, plays a superb shot. Gets the better of the fielder. Just about, yes. I think that's Duckett out there with an attempted stop with his left hand. Tried to grab it, sort of really pushed it onto the rope and over. But, you know, that ball is travelling at a pace. The power. Sheer power, brutal power. Willey moves to 32. The Vikings 116 for 2, 2 balls left of the 10th. Katie Levick.
Yeah, looked a bit slower from Fletcher there. Whether it just lost a bit of pace, it's shorter in the track, or whether it was a fully attempted slow bouncer, but same result for Yorkshire, and it's another boundary.
Fletcher in and bowls. LBW into the pads. No, the umpire's not interested in that. Going down leg, you would imagine. They don't go through for a run. 116 for 2, Willey on 32, Brooke on 37, a partnership of 73. Just seen Phoebe Graham, who has been shown on the streaming service. Is she really still allowed to take advantage of the executive seat at this ground? What's going on?
I saw her on the way in actually, and I thought she was hanging around the players' entrance trying to get some autographs. Didn't realise she was here invited.
Oh dear. Fletcher in bowls full, worked away by David Willey up towards Alex Hales, who himself is capable of doing some pretty magnificent things with the bat, but it does bring to a conclusion 10 overs, 117 for 2, Willey on 33, Brooke on 37. Should point out Phoebe, of course, from these parts, but I don't know why. Has it ever been explained? Can it be explained? Maybe you can have a go as to how she thought it was right to travel the Pennines and play for the other lot, and then it'll be Doidgy back in. Katie.
There's just no loyalty nowadays, I think, is the easiest thing to sum it up, and Phoebe's a good friend of mine, so she'll know I'm only joking if she's listening to this stream, but I don't know personally how she managed to make that and turn Alliance over to the Red Rose, but she hasn't. We still let her in the stadium apparently to watch some fireworks tonight from the Yorkshire boys.
I heard that she's got rid of YouTube because she heard that you commentated on it, but that's you know, just for balance, obviously, as David Willey pushes his first ball of Harrison's latest over out into the offside. There's no run.
She probably blocked my number as well. That's probably why she's not replying to my text.
Yeah. 118 then for 2. Willey on 34. Brooke 37. Kevin Howells will be back with us with Katie Levick and Jonathan Doidge here from Headingley, where Nottinghamshire won the toss, put Yorkshire into bat. Latest delivery, a dot pushed back by Harry Brooke, who's been in such a red-hot vein of form this season, which we've talked about many times. He's had a couple of un-Brooke-like scores recently, but back on song again here with 37. Normal service being resumed as he pushes this latest one up to long on, and we'll pick up 1.
Yeah, it shows you something when you're coming into June, and he's only failed a couple of times, but it's a talking point because he has just been so consistent so far in all formats. Obviously in that England Test squad, but not in the 11, so Yorkshire get to benefit from him here tonight.
1001 before the end of June, before the end of May. Now then, David Willey has just stood and delivered, but unfortunately for him, straight to long off and being caught. So Yorkshire have lost a 3rd wicket, but they're into the back half of this one now. And 119 for 2 with 2 balls left in the 11th represents pretty good effort so far. But with the firepower Nottinghamshire have got, then they'll still fancy themselves to chase down anything that Yorkshire can put up on the board. They've just got to try and limit that. David Willey shaking his head as he leaves the field of play, caught by Stephen Mulaney off Harrison for 34, and so Yorkshire's new batsman, Will Frayne.
Yeah, any team that's got Hales at the top of the order is going to be dangerous, and you want to make sure you give yourself the best possible chance, get plenty of runs on the board, and try and get a momentum going into the 2nd innings. anything can happen here at this ground, as it shown a couple of nights ago in a big run chase, Yorkshire. So they'll be hoping to get up towards that 200 mark again with 9 overs and a couple of balls still to go.
So Frayne just got a temporary stoppage in play for the moment. Drink has been brought on. Harry Brook's got his helmet off just at this stage. And still 2 to come in Harrison's over. So Willie caught Mullaney bowled Harrison for 34 off 33 minutes, or in 33 minutes, and off 19 deliveries. And the score was on 119, so an excellent stand between that pair. They were only together for 6 overs and 1 ball. What's 119 minus 43? I'm asking the wrong person again here, aren't I?
Less than 100, that's for sure.
76, I reckon.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt your maths.
Great effort from the pair of them. Harrison then, his little knee lift step as he comes into bowl, and Will Frayne, first delivery, turns that one back at a square leg where Samit Patel fields, and they're through for a single. Kev mentioned the crowd been, lower than Yorkshire would want, I'm sure, but there's a reasonable amount in, and certainly creating a good enough atmosphere when the ball's been dispatched, as it has on plenty of occasions so far. Harrison then, right arm over at Brook, who works it up towards Mullaney coming in from long on, and he was in pretty quickly there, the Lancastrian, and kept them to 1. So 11 overs complete, 121 for 3, so good over this time by Harrison. Took a wicket, went for just the 4.
Yeah, I kept Yorkshire quiet there when the momentum had just shifted in Yorkshire's favour with that partnership, and both batters were going along great guns. They've just halted them progress a little bit, got a new batter to the crease. Try and halt the flow of boundaries that Willie and Brook were both picking up so easily. Even against the experienced bowler like Patel. He went round the ground in his last over, but he's going to continue here.
Samit Patel for over number 12 then. Bowled numbers 2 and 8 so far. Let's see how he shapes up when bowling over number 12. He's coming in left arm round the wicket in that gap between Middlebrook, the umpire, and the stumps, and he's driven first ball up to long off. Does a acrobatic attempt at not really stopping the ball.
He showed willing, and that's the main thing. Went for it at least.
Sort of a geriatric cartwheel, I think, there from Samit. Not a great record, actually, by his fantastic standards when bowling over number 12. He's done it in 17 matches and taken just 2 wickets and gone for 9.4 and over at this stage. I wonder if Will Frayne's aware of that. He's at the non-striking end on 1. You can look at 1 or 2 here. Still plenty of time by the standards with which we've seen him play. Used his feet nicely there, but drove it straight to short extra cover. Couldn't get it by. Patel in again for ball number 4 of this over, and Frayne works it nicely up towards his counterpart, number 31. Coming in from the boundary edge, that's Harrison. They get a single. 123 for 3. Harry Brook on strike on 40. Another cracker from him. Here's Patel, straight at the wickets and straight through the defences of Harry Brook. And he's been bowled middle and leg for 40 by Samit Patel. So he might not have a great record at this stage up to tonight, but that's not a bad effort.
Yeah, that's a big, big wicket there. 2 new batters now essentially at the crease for Yorkshire, and Brook the informed man for them. I thought at first there he just managed to guide that to short third, but it was actually the bails flying off, and Patel was very pleased with that. Dusted off his geriatric cartwheel and did a good jump there and a fist bump.
Jonathan Tannersall, the new man for Yorkshire. Harry Brook, 31 minutes, 25 deliveries for his 40 runs. 123 for 4, so just 4 runs for that 4th wicket partnership. And Brook, bowled by Patel, of the 5th ball of the 12th over.
Yeah, extremely good over so far. No boundaries. That all-important wicket of Brook, and now he's got Tattersall at the crease. So Notts just swinging the momentum back in their favour here. Broke that partnership that was going wrong. Absolute great guns. And Yorkshire going to have to start again now and try and get a big finish.
Yeah, Will Frayne has been the finisher in recent times. So right man out there in that respect, and we know how Johnny Tattersall plays, just as he did that first delivery from Patel. He'll run the ball around. He's pushed it up to long on for 1. So he'll keep things ticking. He's quick between the wickets. He'll give Will Frayne plenty of support there. Try and pick up odd boundaries himself, of course. He's not really an all-guns blazing 6-hitter, Johnny Tattersall.
He's ever so slight, more, yeah, touch player, but hopefully be good foil to Frayne if he can be the aggressor and try and pick up Yorkshire a couple of boundaries. Tattersall stay with him throughout, but we said before, this is really big boundaries and there's really big pockets. If you can find them and you can get plenty of 2s, and that'll keep the scoreboard going just as much as boundaries will do as well.
So Harrison coming back on for over number 13 at the Howard stand end. Tall figure. And he comes then, right arm over, out of the back of the hand. It's turned down through deep backward square leg. Samit Patel is in pretty quickly with a sidearm throw over the top to Moores, and they got through for 1. Tattersall on to 2. Frayne on the same score is back on strike. Long on, long off out, mid-wicket out, deep backward square leg out, sweeper on the cover boundary also out, everybody else inside the ring, and Frayne steps back and cuts this one out to the sweeper on the cover boundary, and they pick up another 1.
Yeah, interestingly, just looking around at all the boundary riders so far, they seem to have come a good 10 yards off each. Obviously done the homework and thought these 2 aren't going to have the same power to get into the stands like Willie and Brook did.
Kelvin Harrison then. And he comes again. Tattersall just tries to use the feet and work that. Everybody's set back on the leg side, so there's an easy little push for 1. The sort of shot that Johnny Tat kind of milks and makes his own. And you don't expect him to pick up some more in that respect if he can get it right. But the bowler with a little win on this occasion. This time it's swept much better by Tattersall. Samit Patel gets round to field it, but can't pick it up cleanly. And they get back for a second then, having missed out the 1 the previous ball. They've kind of made up for it with a second there. So Tattersall on to 4, 128 for 4. Harrison, he does well at this stage of the innings, going for just over 1 a ball in 7 matches when bowling over number 13. Not big in the wickets column, but he's keeping it tight, and he's doing the same again here as Tattersall runs it into the leg side, and the bowler himself has to sprint 25-30 yards or so to pick it up. Keeps them to 1.
Yeah, run rate just being controlled here by Notts. Yorkshire's 2 in batters yet to find that boundary.
Still ticking along at just over 10 and over. They were well over 11, going on 12 for a little while. Previous couple of partnerships. Last ball of the over. Harrison in. Frayne times it nicely in front of square leg. Patel coming in, and they take him on for a second. That's good running between the wickets. They've got back for 2. So nice little end to the over. 13 now complete, and well, they got 10 from it, Katie.
Yeah, and that's what you need to do.
No, not 10 from it. My apologies. I've not written down the previous score, the previous over. So I'll let you carry on, and I'll work that one out.
We said picking up those 2s is all important. They've obviously seen the other night, Patel didn't fancy himself as a quick runner and tired himself out, so they took him on in the deep to pick up a couple off the last ball of the over, and they just need to keep doing that. If they can't find the boundaries as easily as the previous 2 were, they need to just make sure they keep picking up those 2s where they can.
7 off it.
You weren't that far off.
No, 7, 10, you know. Who's counting? Clearly not me. So number 20, Matt Carter, back into the attack for over number 14. He's got none for 15 off 2. He's bowling right arm round the wicket, and this first delivery has been swept aerially by Tattersall. I think he just got underneath that, trying to play a more orthodox sweep shot. They got a 1.
Yeah, looked like a top edge and a bit of spin that could have tricked the fielder running in, but managed to control it and just a single.
Just moving the field slightly to the left, those on the leg side, and we see a lovely attempt at a reverse sweep by Will Frayne. I say a lovely attempt because he actually got under it as well in the end, and probably didn't get it, as he probably wanted that backward a square, didn't he? And he's got it just in front of, lobbed it up well short of the fielder, I hasten to add, so they got a single from it. 133 for 4. Carter in again, and Tattersall steps back and pulls. Nicely so as well, but again, just the 1. And Nottinghamshire will be happy every delivery that doesn't produce a boundary. Won a ball, they'll back themselves to chase that from here on in. As Frayne leans into this and lobs it up over the top of Carter. Down to long on, they pick up 1.
Yeah, the boundary riders are just lurking a few off the edge, and they're making it difficult for these two batters to find the twos and find the boundaries.
Here he is again. Nicely played this time by Tattersall. Very, very fine little run down towards third man. Patel gives chase, but they are like whippets between the wickets, this pair, and they're back for 2.
Yeah, it was a deliberate shot, but still frustrating for the bowler. You don't like to see that little cheeky edges to pick up 2 when you've got a short third. But again, Yorkshire still not finding the boundary, so you've got to be happy if you're the Notts bowlers.
Wide of the crease this time, Carter. And Tattersall steps back and pulls, and they're through for another single to complete that. The 14th over then, 7 off it again. 138 for 4. Nice bit of chicken, wasn't it, that we got earlier on tonight, but cordon bleu compared to the usual bag of sarnies.
Yeah, it was a good feed. Although the last time I was here was pizza in a box, and I wouldn't have been too opposed to that if it had turned up again.
Cold, that, wasn't it? Cold.
Yeah, but cold pizza I think is a good
tonight.
shout, yeah.
Tell you what I had over the weekend. Absolutely beautiful crumble. Doesn't matter what it's filled with, does it crumble? It crumbles just the best, isn't it?
That's what we got fed at the Aegeus Bowl, actually, yeah, and it was a firm favourite in the Diamonds camp.
Is there a better pudding than Pauline's crumble, I say?
If I could just eat the crumble and leave the fruit, I would as well.
The custard, though, just a little bit, you know, you need it warm at least, don't you?
Yeah, we had
not
southern
necessarily
custard.
hot, but you need it warm.
Southern soft custard is what we had on it thick. I want to stand my spoon up.
Now then, in comes Harrison for this latest over, number 15 from the Howard stand end. Tattersall tries the pull shot. He did get something on it. It's not been given as buys or leg buys, but it went very fine. Luke Fletcher doing the fielding, so they could just pick up the 1. People running to all parts here. It's like some sort of fielding position display exhibition. The green and gold arrows out there at Headingley.
Looks like they're just trying to hide Patel in an area they might not be able to run a 2 to him after the last over. Swapped with Hales, who's now down at the deep square boundary.
I think he's still blowing as Frayne uses his feet to this latest Harrison delivery. He whipped it in round about leg stump, and he couldn't get it away, the batsman. So heart rates might just start to increase. Last few overs now since the halfway mark, it was 117 for 2. So 22 added in the last 4 overs and 2 balls. Notts pulling this one back. Frayne then gets out the reverse sweep, and he's got it away down towards the corner of the ground to our right, the western terrace side of the ground. And just didn't get quite enough on it. It's been hauled in about 3 yards short of the rope. They've got back for 2.
A good bit of fielding there. Didn't quite get a good full connection with it for it to race away, and it's a big old hit down that end.
Harrison again. Frayne this time trying to hit across the line, and it is a miss by the willow because it's wrapped him on the pad and squirted out into the offside for a leg bye. So not quite neither of them managing to get the sort of connections that we know they can both do just at this moment in time, and having to run it around.
Yeah, the Notts spinners are doing a great job, and they're racing through these overs. Yorkshire got to be careful they don't just see the overs tick away and they're not actually advancing the score as much as they should be in the final few overs.
2 left then in the 15th. Harrison 1 for 26 so far. Tattersall works it out towards mid-wicket. They've got the one, but as I say, they're both quick, but they think better of a second. Ball whipped back in. Frayne on 9. Tattersall is on 11. It's been made to wait a moment here. In comes Harrison towards us. Frayne uses his feet again, but can't get it back past the bowler. And so, using up deliveries here, Yorkshire 143 for 4. Just 5 from that 15th over, and just 5 overs remaining left.
Yeah, Yorkshire won't be too happy. The innings just faltering a little bit here. We've just gone to a bit of a stutter. Both new batters yet to find those all-important boundaries, and Notts will be very happy that their spinners have clawed this back. It looked like Yorkshire were on for a massive total at one stage when Brooke and Willie were going at it, all guns blazing, but credit to Notts, they've stuck at it. They've worked to the plans, and they're making it difficult for Yorkshire going into these final few overs. You want the momentum as the batting team, try and have some big overs, take it into the fielding innings, but so far they've been kept quite quiet. Frayne and Tattersall just on 9 and 12, and a slow partnership of 20 building. And first ball of the over has seen a dot ball, big swing to the leg side, and couldn't get anything on it.
Can we edit that bit out? Thank you. I mean, you were good. You were good, but it's just a bit embarrassing for me, you know. Carter in, bowls in the air. Thankfully, we missed nothing too major. I've only been doing this for I don't know how many years. Don't ask me how many years, please don't ask me. It's a single. It's 144 for 4. Frayne and Tattersall then. So not necessarily you'd think of them as being the big gun names here for Yorkshire, but they've got a chance here on proving that they are those names of the future. Both of them.
Both got plenty of overs to bat, and they'll be wanting to put down a marker. You know, Yorkshire got an all-star studded batting lineup when everyone's available for them, so they'll be wanting to try and put a performance in to keep the name in the hat.
Frayne on 9 in the air, but it's safe out on the leg side. Hales up off the boundary with a right arm throw. It's supposed to be a day of Test cricket today, you know. Didn't happen. How good is Joe Root? How exciting is Joe Root still?
You just run out of adjectives for him, don't you? He's just, you forget how young he is as well, and how much more of his career he should still have to go.
It was terrific. Couldn't be happier yesterday. This is a low full toss out on the leg side, and that's going to be 6. That's well hit by Tattersall, that is. I mean, I know it's a full toss, but you know, there are times when I look at those and I think they're some of the hardest to get right and make. I mean, how easy it is to just send it straight down the throat of the fielder out there. But no, found the perfect spot out there square. It's a 6, and the Vikings passed the 150 mark, 151 for 4.
Yeah, and Tattersall, I think he'll just breathe a little sigh of relief there. He's got one away, relieves a little bit of pressure. And
he goes same area again. This could be a bit. Oh, it's going to be 4. Oh my days. Dive forward to that, tried to get his hands to it. Is that Harrison out there? And it's going to be 4 runs. Well, I think he did actually stop and think to himself, I'm not going to get that, and tried to correct himself to make sure it didn't go past him, but went straight through him in the end. 4 runs. So Carter's bowled 4 overs, no wicket for 34. The Vikings 155 for 4. What's your reading of that there?
Oh, you're fuming if you're the bowler there. But I think a few of the fielders seemed to have had difficulty picking it up there. There was the catch earlier with Joe Clark where it looked like he thought it was just hanging for him, but then it went over for 6, but only just cleared him. And then a lot of indecision there. He wasn't sure whether to come forward, and you never do know. You think, do I put my body on the line and hope it hits me, or do I do the sensible thing and not go for it?
I thought he was going to go all the way to him, to be honest, when it first left the bat. Looking to reverse it. Oh, that's sharp. It's straight to the fielder. Clark on the edge of the circle. Gosh, that was quick.
Yeah, it's a good shot of Frayne's, and he's found really good connection so far. We've not got all the rewards he probably deserves for it.
He's on 11. Vikings 156 for 4. 17th over is Patel bowling. Looks to reverse again. Falls just short of Clark. And comfortably, sensibly from Clark. He does throw it with good accuracy, as opposed to throwing in and going flying past Sammit and there being overthrows. I think there probably was a steady single in there. but then again, he's only on the edge of the circle. This is good running from this pair. Frayne facing again on 11. Gets more of a bottom edge on that out onto the onside. Goes through for 1. East to 12, 158 for 4 now. Midway through the 17th over. The run rate going along at 9.58. Well, I was saying earlier, you want to get up around that 200 mark if you can, and they're going to come up short here, and will that be a problem? Tattersalls on 24, he's facing now the right-handed Tattersall. Use of the feet, beautiful use of the feet, and even better use of the bat as he clears the rope there on the onside of straight. Gosh, he connected well with that.
Yeah,
that's a 6.
A lovely clean connection there. 6 all the way. The fielder wasn't interested in it because he knew it was sailing over his head into the stands. And Tattersall, being the aggressor, you wouldn't necessarily think that out of this partnership. You think Frayne would be the one to go. He so often is, and he's got a bit of a nickname as the finisher here. But Tattersall is doing all the hard work.
Patel around the wicket again. Well, he went across his stumps. It's all very well, Johnny, you looking down and feeling a bit sorry for yourself. You didn't connect with it. You still got to get up and run, which eventually he remembered to do. And he goes through for 1. But he felt frustration there, and he did look at it for a little bit too long, didn't he?
He probably realised that was the one that he should have got away, and it was veering down leg side.
Frayne on 12 and finds a big enough gap. Is he going to beat the fielder? No, good stop out there in the deep, actually. They get 2. It's what Nottinghamshire have got to do. They've got to remain calm, focused on every ball, because every time that maybe they stop, it could have been a 4, not for some good fielding. It could prove crucial in a high-scoring game. 167 for 4, 17 overs gone here. And we've just seen Patel bowl out his 4 overs, 1 for 39. Your thoughts? You're exactly the person to turn to. Carter and Patel, your analysis of their bowling here this evening.
Yeah, I think they've done a really good job to stick at it. It's always a really nice batting track here at Headingley. It's a lightning fast outfield. You really get value for your shots. And Yorkshire were going along like an absolute train when Brooke and Willie were in, but the Notts spinners have really pulled it back in these last couple of overs and kept Tattersall and Frayne relatively quiet. Tattersall just managing to find his feet a bit now and found a couple of boundaries. But the Notts boys have, the spinners in particular, have raced through their overs and worried Yorkshire for a little bit there. Kept them in check, and it's still, I think, evenly poised.
Tattersall, is on 30. His strike rate 166. Compare that with Frayne's 82 for this match. As I say, that's maybe a bit of a surprise. Looks to ramp it, does Tattersall. Well, he's got all the shots in the book tonight. Wow. I mean, when I see that shot, I'm still full of wonder, because the risk, seemingly, on that shot, if you don't get it right, it's curtains. It's 4 instead of curtains. Tattersall to 34, 171 for 4 in the 18th. He's going through the whole shebang tonight, isn't he?
He's doing a fantastic job, and especially with Tom Cadmore taking the gloves in the early stages of this competition for Yorkshire. Tattersall's got a lot to prove, and he's doing a great job of it so far this evening.
He's taking his opportunity here. 34 not out, 171 for 4, 18th over. Fletcher it is bowling in on the leg stump. Nicely played by Tattersall, just gets inside out and drives along the ground for 1. He moves to 35. 172 for 4 on a Monday night in the 18th over. Vitality Blast action from the North Group. Nottinghamshire won the toss. They elected to have a bowl first, putting the Vikings in. Gives them a chance, of course, of just having a look, seeing what's going on here. They've got some big hitters. I mean, gosh, if there were a team, there is a team that are capable of chasing down big scores, it's this Nottinghamshire outfit. Of course it is. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, heavily experienced. And they've seen an eye on how Yorkshire went about it the other night when they chased down 200 plus, and they'll think they'll back themselves with Hales up top to try and get them off to a flyer.
Frayne on 14. Fletcher's coming into bowl to Will Frayne now. In bowls, looking to ramp it again, up and over, and that is going to be 4 runs. Another perfectly executed ramp shot for 4. I mentioned this on the first innings. We're seeing the brutality at times of the batting, and we're seeing the utmost skill and execution. It's a 4 for Frayne. He moves to 18. 176 for 4. Midway through the 18th over. A joy to watch this, a joy to watch.
Yeah, both batsmen could have been frustrated when they weren't able to get it away in the early parts of their innings, but it's just showing you to stick at it and trust your shots, and they're playing it all around the ground now, and they're making the Notts bowlers have to have a think here. Field changing every ball because they are manipulating it, and they're hitting boundaries and runs all around the ground.
Fletcher comes in to bowl to Frayne. In and bowl, shorter, slower, in the air, but it's going to bounce just in front of Patel. And they go through for one, and it's a no ball.
Ooh.
And what's that on? Height. I think he's suggested that's a height issue.
Ooh. Fletcher doesn't seem to be
Too
arguing with
impressed.
it, but
Well, he's not. No, and arguing is not a good thing.
No,
as you
you would
know,
never.
you'd never. I think though that he has engaged in a conversation.
yeah. But he'll be disappointed there. He thought he'd employed a tactic well and kept the boundaries quiet.
He's back into Tattersall now in the air, safe square offside for Tattersall. Oh, he's coming back for a second. He's got to be quick. Is he going to be quick enough? Dives in. He is quick enough. 2 runs. He's 37, 181 for 4. We're seeing some superb batting from Tattersall for his 37. We're seeing some great adventure of running as well. Wonderful.
He is a little
athlete.
whippet between the wickets, and he is quick, but that is an absolutely stolen too. You wouldn't be wanting that if you're Fletcher.
No, I suppose, but he turned. He was adamant he was going to get that too. He got it. Partnership of 58. Fletcher in bowls now, full, slower, in the air behind square on the offside this time, or maybe it actually ends up pretty square on the cover point boundary. And Tattersall goes the long way round, going back for his 2 there. He moves to 41. Partnership up to 60. Crowd are getting behind them tonight here in Leeds. Mind you, I dare say, dreaming on a few of these age group players as well, in their minds, as well as their parents' mind for some of them, especially the more competitive ones. They'll be thinking, it'll just be a few years, it could be us out there. Tattersall on 39, Fletcher in and bowling. Yorker length delivery on the leg stump, which again, I've got to credit Tattersall there for me. You tell me. I mean, he just plays that away, gets a single. That was a good ball from Fletcher. He was slower, he was dipping in on him. He still gets a run. It's 184 for 4, 18 overs. You can totally disagree with me, but I thought he did really well, quite well there.
He did, yeah. Tattersall give himself some room, moved over to the leg side to try and give him his arms. Fletcher, to his credit, did follow him, but Tattersall, you can tell, he's just growing in confidence in this innings, and he's finding the middle of the bat now consistently, and he's really making these Notts bowlers have to think, because he is hitting 360 so far, and he's not making it easy.
Just going to have a look up. So this is 38th T20 game for Tattersall. His strike rate for his career is 123, and he's up around the 170 mark, I think, here tonight. He has had a 50 in T20 cricket before, a high score of 53 not out.
Yeah, usually he's the bat through, the assister, when you'd think Frayne would be the aggressor, and he'd be, but they've swapped roles tonight, and they're doing a good job here of the rebuild. When Willie and Brooke departed in quick fashion after each other, he did worry for Yorkshire's final total, but they're already up at 184, and the 200 is within reach again.
Every time you walk out there, you know this. Every time you walk out there, doesn't where you come. You know, maybe you're coming down low down that order. It's still an opportunity for you to put right what might have gone wrong before. And that opportunity has been taken here by Tattersall. Oh, and that's a wide delivery first up from Jake Ball. This is his 3rd over. Didn't get that at all right, did he?
No, I think the wide outside off stump is probably the way to go so far. Tattersall's played over his head lovely, and he's swept, and he's reverse swept. But he's got to make them think, and he's got to try find something here in this pitch, because Yorkshire are on for a big total.
Finn Allen, 16. Adam Lythe, 20. David Willey, 34. Harry Brooke, 40. Brooks, 40 off 25 balls. David Willey's 34 off 19. Jake Ball got rid of both Finn Allen and Adam Lythe. Finn Allen LBW, bowls Lythe, and he's around the wicket in now, again looking for width. A swing on that one and a miss. That is what he's trying to do there. So Tattersall here, how does he play this? Has it been signalled a wide? No, I don't think it was.
It was much more better executed there by Ball. It's exactly what you want to do, and it kept Tattersall quiet.
Did you think that was a wide there, my friend, or did you? My very good close friend and colleague there, he thought it was a wide. Well, it was a close call, but not given by the umpire. Tattersall's on 40. In and bowls. This is in the air. Mind you, it's gone a long way up in the air. Where's it going to fall out on the leg side? Oh! Just in front of the fielder coming in. Now that's one where you look at the field and say, could you have been a bit more committed? Wasn't too sure how long he was going to hang there for. 187 for 4.
I don't actually think that was picked up in the beginning. He hesitated before setting off initially, and I think looked like long on was had to give him a shout that's yours, you need to get in there, and then he was lucky that that bounce landed nicely for him and landed into palm.
Yeah, it did.
Those can embarrass you often when you're running in full pelt and then they land and spin and you get a cheer from the crowd.
What are you to do? What are you to do? I'll bow and say thank you. I'm here to please and entertain. Tattersalls on 42, 187 for 4 round the wicket. Ball again, full. Nicely played by Tattersall. Square along the ground. You mustn't forget Jake Ball is of international quality. He's had his injury concerns, injury problems, of course, as Jake. But, you know, he's a handful. And look, at my age, please be generous. But I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. He really came back. We saw the best of Jake Ball again well, I think it was 2 years ago, wasn't it? In the competition where he came back and bowled beautifully.
Yeah, and that heavily experienced Notts side picked up the T20 Cup that year, I believe.
He comes head down, powering in now. Frayne on 19, goes across his stumps, and he pulls that in the air, out to the field, and caught. Out there at deep mid-wicket. Couldn't get hold of that one as much as he would have liked, and it flew fairly flat out there on the onside. So that is the end of Frayne. A very useful partnership, but they've got to keep going here, Yorkshire. But Frayne has gone, caught by Duckett, who earlier couldn't quite get that chase come in, try and take that catch, but that one is a little easier for him. Frayne's gone for 19, 31 minutes, 20 balls, included 1-4, a strike rate of 95. But, you know, he was there offering support to Tattersall, who really must now just keep going.
Yeah, he did his job, Frayne. He ran really well. He wasn't the most fluent. It looked like he was struggling to find his boundary options. But, you know, they started another partnership there and they've got Yorkshire up to this total so far. I don't think Yorkshire will be too disappointed to see Thompson coming out to the crease. He's also a big hitter and the left-hander now to bring a right-hand, left-hand into the crease to make Notts boys have to think about it a bit more.
He's got a strike rate 163, Jordan Thompson. Almost perfect territory. You could have said maybe an over or two ago if he'd come out then, but now he's got an opportunity, hasn't he, to show us the worth of that strike rate.
Well, with all the talk about retiring out, I did wonder if Yorkshire thought, you know, Frayne's struggling a little bit here, we might retire out and get Thompson in. I wondered if it would be a tactic.
Thompson's facing. And that's a nice little shot, actually. It's not going to get him anything but, maybe a two, no, just the one. Samit Patel doing the fielding, sticking at it, Notts, in fairness, out there in the field, and the crowd behind Samit. Love a bit of Samit. He loves a bit of the crowd as well. 189 for 5. That means that Tattersall is back on strike, which is fair enough. He's the one that's been going along really nicely.
Yeah, he's seen it well and he's in form, and Thompson doesn't have to worry about being the one that has to find the boundary because Tattersall is doing a good job so far.
This is the last ball of this over. Tattersall on 43. Ball bowls to him now, full. Nice shot again from Tattersall. I love the use of the wrist to whip it away and find a run where he can, because this is good bowling from Jake Ball, but still get a run off a delivery like that from Ball, you've done okay. But that is Ball with his 3 overs, 3 wickets for 29, and that's all they're going to get out of him tonight. Tattersall 44, Thompson 1. The Vikings 190 for 5, 1 ball remaining. So who's bowled through? Harrison's bowled his 4 overs, 1 for 27. Carter 4 overs, no wicket for 34. Patel 1 for 39 from his 4 overs. Ball's not going to bowl this full 4. But Fletcher, who's gone for 39 runs from 3 overs, is going to get his 4. Are you overly...
Yeah, you wonder if the captain's not quite done his maths right there, but Ball was expensive at the start, but then he's pulled it back and he's got those all-important wickets, which is what you want in T20, yeah. So...
Anyway, that was the call. 190 for 5, and Fletcher comes in now and bowls on the off stump. Drilled along the ground by Tattersall for a single. To Alex Hales, moves to his right-hand side. Long on. Vikings 191 for 5. They want to get up to that 200 mark. Got 5 balls in which to score 9 runs. And anything bonus over the top as well if they can.
Yeah, it's a good mental plus that if you get that 200 and just put it in the minds of the Notts batters that it's a tough ask. You want to finish strong, you want to get some momentum going into your bowling innings. Fletcher's, I'd say, struggled so far, and he's not had the most consistency with his line. Now he's got a left-hander to go out and see how he manages it.
And he's coming over the wicket, the left-handed Thompson, who pulls that away in the air. That's going to be a 6. I'm looking forward to this little contest here. Two big-time players in their own right, in their own way here, Fletcher and Thompson. Two players. I mean, Fletcher's already well established at Nottinghamshire as a bit of a folk hero. Thompson is still on his way probably to that, but boy, he's going to get there. For me, he and Harry Brook are just two of the most exciting cricketers.
Yeah, definitely. In the last couple of years, they've really burst onto the scene for Yorkshire, and they're already fan favourites here at Headingley, and Thompson showing just exactly why with that second ball of his.
Fletcher again. This is straight. Oh, and dropped by Christian. Put down by the captain at mid-off. They'll get one. Thompson moves to 8. 198 for 5.
Big moment. He's hit that so hard, but looked like Christian didn't quite pick it up, and he wrong-footed himself, went to his left initially, and then he's had to come back and he's spilt it over his right shoulder, but only went for one in the end.
Yeah, which, you know, one in the last over is, you know, if you get your ones, but, you know, you've got Tattersall back on strike. He's striking the ball beautifully. He's on 45. Fletcher bowls to him now, the right-handed Tattersall. In the air, but on the top edge. I think that's going to fall safe. It is, but they'll only get one again. And the score moves to 199 for 5 now. A little bit fortunate, didn't get hold of it top edged. But just for me, and thankfully he didn't embarrass me by coming in and taking the catch. It just didn't look as if he was going to quite get out there to that field as he came in.
No, he got a lot of height on it, but not that much distance, and there's a few that's landed like that for the Notts boundary riders, where you're not quite sure whether you're going full throttle and throwing your body at it for a catch, or taking the safe option and making sure it's just a one.
Sensible cricket. Okay, so Fletcher came over the wicket to Thompson, his first delivery bowled at him. And he went for 6. He's coming around the wicket at him now. Thompson 8 not out. Fletcher to the left-handed Thompson. A slower ball, bonnage down into the ground. They'll go through for 1. Thompson looks annoyed, frustrated with himself. The crowd love the fact they've got 200. With that single, 200 on the board.
Yorkshire Vikings.
Short and wide from Fletcher there, so Thompson will be disappointed he's not managed to get his hands through it and get it away, but it's a difficult one to try and cut away when it's that wide outside off stump.
Would it have been the pace that was the problem? It didn't
It
get
looks
the pace
like,
of it?
yeah, it looks like Fletcher's really employed the slow ball bounces so far in this innings. He's realised that anything with full pace is going the distance so far.
Should be the last ball. Tattersall's facing, fall from Fletcher. Driven up towards Hales, comes in off the boundary. They want to come back for a cheeky 2, and they make it. 202 for 5. Tattersall 48. Fletcher's bowled 4 overs. He went, what, I think that was 11 off that last over, wasn't it? 4 overs, 51 runs from those 4 overs. You know, overall those figures don't look good. I thought he did quite a good job though, Fletcher, in that last over, to be fair.
Yeah, it could have been a lot more, especially with the first ball going away for 6. But stuck to his plans, and he made it difficult for Yorkshire. But main thing for the Vikings, they'll be happy they got over that 200 mark. At one stage looked in danger after a really promising early start. But they're going into the second innings with a total to defend.
We were asking for 200. Ideally, maybe a 220 out there, following the start they made. But do you think we can get a little bit, us lot, us non-players, you're the player, okay? Can we get a little bit overly giddy about the starts that teams make? Because so often, as good a start as that is, you've got 6 overs of power play. You're supposed to get off to a good start. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can then easily kick on, does it? Or maybe we think it's a little bit more easy than maybe it is. That's what I'm saying.
Well, certainly, like, you've got to make the most of the power play when you can only have a couple of fielders out of the boundary, and especially at a place like Headingley where it is such big boundaries. But it's not easy to come in and go from ball 1 later in the innings when you lose wickets at key times. We lost Brook and Willie back to back in the middle overs, and Yorkshire struggled for a few to get going again, and they had to do a little rebuild, which you forget you can do in T20. I think you have to go from ball 1, but I think Tattersall timed his innings really well, and after a nervy start, was a lot more free flow in towards the end, and he's got him to 200, and that would have been the first milestone, I imagine.
This is BBC Radio Leeds, the Yorkshire stations, along with 5 Sports Extra with you tonight. A Monday night Vitality Blast. Katie Levick, the Diamond Supercharger, she's with us tonight. Delighted she is. Deutsche, of course, the main man. He'll be back with you shortly as well, steering us through what we hope is going to be a highly entertaining night of Vitality Blast. So I want to go through that card in a moment, but before we do that, look at that, Katie. I mean, come on, you're young enough to actually be feeling the emotion of the boys and girls out there, the youngsters who are now parading in front of the Howard stand. They're representatives of the age group cricket here at Yorkshire, and that's an excitement in itself. You play your club cricket, you get spotted maybe with your club or with your school, you go to your trials, you get looked at, and the parents have to drive miles across the broad acres of Yorkshire from one side to the other, north, west and east. And tonight, with your free membership now for Yorkshire as well, you get paraded here on a big night of Vitality Blast cricket.
I love that you can see that it goes from the youngsters at the front, they've got all the enthusiasm and they're waving around the 4s and the 6s cards, and then as you get into the teenagers a bit further around, they're a bit too cool for this and they're going at a much more leisurely pace. But yeah, they'll be thrilled inside internally when you're a Yorkshire player and a Yorkshire fan. To be on the pitch of Headingley is a massive thing, and it'll probably spur them on to want to be there one day.
Some of them got some very jazzy boots. I can see some bright orange ones out there. Oh, and they're coming all the way around. Oh, that's great news. Because I think for one, I think initially maybe they were just going to do the top end of the ground, or the top end as we're looking at it. Oh, and the cameras are out. These are big night. Okay, I don't care if it might not be the international cricket, it might not be the big franchise cricket. These are big moments for families and for youngsters, and well done, Yorkshire. You must go and get yourself a break, Katie. What's in that flask, by the way?
Water.
Are you sure?
Hydration is key.
You have a sniff of that, Doidgy, just to make sure it is, but otherwise you won't be allowed back on. 202 for 5 after 20 overs. Tattersalls 48 off 30. Jordan Thompson's 9 off 4. And they're waving themselves on the big screen now. Oh, I love seeing this. This is terrific. Punching the air, the kids. Great to see. And I wish every single one of them all the best out there. We know that out of that group we're looking at now, that 2 or 3, hopefully, if we're really lucky, will make the big step up. But hopefully they'll all go on and have a wonderful time in cricket. I was having this discussion with someone actually the other day. People talking, and I get the grievance a little, that there's perhaps not enough first-class red ball cricket, county cricket, being played at the weekend, Saturdays and Sundays, for people. People say for them to bring along the kids to watch the red ball cricket being played, and I get the frustration a little bit. But for me, Doidgy, and I just wonder, I mean, you've much more experience of this than I have as a parent, but I'm just wondering whether sometimes you've just got to remember that out there are clubs and leagues up and down the country that are giving opportunities for kids to play the game. I know it's really important that they watch the game, they see their heroes, as indeed these youngsters are this evening, but Saturdays and Sundays is the time to, and a lot of teams, seconds and third teams, they're giving opportunities for kids to go out there 13, 14, 15 years of age to learn.
Yeah, many opportunities around the leagues for younger players, so that's where a lot of them will be on weekends. And I've got to say that when we've had a whole raft of county games this year, Kev, that have involved Saturday and Sunday play, and the crowds here in particular in the matches we've seen so far have not been great on weekends, and they've been better, I would have thought, probably on days 1 and 2 than they have on 3 and 4. Mind you, we did have a lot of turgid cricket in that first few weeks as well.
It's the idea though that you've got to be, the youngsters have to be watching the game. I mean, we mustn't lose sight of the fact a very important thing is to play the game, and I'm not totally comfortable in using this term, but it's one that seems to be widely used. The cricket family of your local club. So that might be playing the game, it might be scoring the game, it might be all sorts of things, but where you get to feel what it's like to be part of a cricket club.
Yeah, they've got to be given those opportunities, and cricket knows that they've got to be playing the game to retain an interest in the game, to filter that down. It's just that sort of ongoing culture of cricket, isn't it? So people can't be here all the time. I used to love playing the game on a weekend, and give me the opportunity to play the game rather than watch it, and I'd want to play it, I've got to say. And I still love to come here and watch when I could, and test matches and that sort of thing, but there's nothing quite like playing with a bunch of mates. You get on really well, and it's there to be played in the first place. And yeah, I totally understand that there are people out there who maybe don't want to play for whatever reason. There are reasons they can't play. They want to always come and watch, and that's absolutely fine. And the game, still can, if you like, survive on that basis. And then you get those people who come just a few times a year. They're more selective because they still want to play the game, and there's still plenty of time after most people retire from playing the game to come and enjoy it, during the weekends, and of course lots of evenings like this that they can still come and watch on anyway when they're not playing themselves.
What about this week? Well, Lancashire on Wednesday, Big Roses match coming up Wednesday. Friday, another game for the Vikings.
Yeah, Friday they're at Edgbaston for Birmingham Bears, which is clearly a big game. They started the competition so well. It's not gone all their way since then, as we know. Yorkshire with that fantastic tie the other week at Old Trafford in the first Roses match. And of course, remember the game between the two sides here last year when Yorkshire looked like they'd won it. Lancashire then looked like they'd won it when Stephen Croft went berserk late on in the piece, and then Lockie Ferguson took the hat-trick to finish the match. What a thriller of a game that was. Probably as good a game as I've been privileged to sit and commentate
Was that
on.
the same game that he also bowled that ridiculous wide that was almost like 2 strips away? The same game.
I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah. First up, and then he comes in with that hat-trick as well. What are you reckoning on the 202, Jonathan?
Not sure. I've got to say they've got a lot of firepower, the Nottinghamshire Outlaws, with the bats. They have loads of it, and if one or two of these players come off, that may be all it takes. It's still going to take, though, a sustained effort over 20 overs. I think it's still a good score. We'll find out if it's a very good score, I suppose, in about an hour and a quarter's time, but there's that. I mean, if you look at the way Yorkshire scored in terms of their momentum, right, the first 50 they got to in 5.3 overs. They got to 100 by 8.4 overs, so that took them just 3 overs and 1 ball to get the second 50. The third 50 then took 7 overs and 1 ball, so there was a slowing in momentum at that stage, and then they kicked on again, 4 overs exactly to get to the 200 mark. They obviously added a further couple of runs as well just beyond the end of that, so we'll see if that's going to be enough. You'd have liked maybe another just 10 runs, 15 runs in that period, but you'd always like more. That's the thing, and we're greedy, aren't we? Still 200, you'd have taken that, I think, at the start of
I think if I'm a Yorkshire supporter, I would have liked a bit more of a peak in 1 or 2 of those overs towards the end. If you have a look at that chart, it peaks obviously 4, 5 and 6 and then flattens out. I mean, you're still talking 10s and 11s, but just a bit more of a peak, maybe an over or 2. But great to hear Johnson's going to be back in very shortly to pick up some commentary. I'll start it off along with Katie Levick, who has been off and has had a little bit of a break. I mean, it's in fairness, it's not much of a break. So we should just let her settle down a little bit more. Got a slip in here. Got Clark and Hales who are going to open up. I mean, this is a wonderful lineup. This, if you bear in mind, Clark and Hales, the opening pair of batters. David Willey, it is bowling. Left arm in and bowls to Clark. Turns the ball square on the leg side. And he will go through for 1. 203 is the target on this Monday evening. Headingley leads. It's, of course, midsummer, and therefore it's blooming freezing. No, it isn't blooming freezing, but it should be warmer than this. But it's dry and it's light. And we have got the floodlights on. In fairness, actually, the shadows are being cast off those floodlights because the cloud is fairly high, but it's still a little bit dark in places. Bowled him! Hales has been bowled! First ball by David Willey. What a start! Hales is capable of doing so much damage. That's the wicket you want. That's the wicket they've got.
Yeah, and Willie showed just how big that wicket was. Massive celebration and fist bump for him, and I don't think you're expected to see Hales back in the shed. First ball, but that's huge for Yorkshire, and you've got to really keep on that momentum now because they have got a great batting lineup, and Duckett's now coming out to replace him. We know what the damage he can do, but Hales is the man you want to see back in the shed early, so a very happy Yorkshire captain right there.
There's something about David Willey, and I know it may not be fair of me to ask your opinion on this, but please chip in if you want to. Something about David Willey that, for me, underrated, never quite talked about as highly as he should be. Yet, people know how good he is, and yet still he just doesn't get those mentions in the way that some of the others. So I think he's just one. We saw it the other night with the bat. We saw a little bit of it this evening with the bat, but his skills, his capabilities.
I think he's one of those players where, especially in that World Cup squad a few years ago, he was so unlucky to miss out. And he was the only one that didn't get picked up from the initial selection. But as a Yorkshire fan and the Yorkshire crowd here, we're quite happy that he has been underrated at international level, because it means we get to see him a lot more.
Yes, exactly, yeah. And Northants, you know, he did some wonderful things there as well.
Yeah, he picked up some white ball trophies at Northants, and he makes things happen with bat and with ball, and it's surprised he hasn't had more international honours like he probably deserves. But like I said, the Headingley crowd will be happy we get to have him at least.
Duckett's the new man in. Willie bowls to him now. A play and a miss. Ooh, that looked a little bit loose first up from Duckett.
That's a wild swing outside off stump, and that's exactly what you want to see if you're Willie. But if you're the Notts batters sat in the dugout, you're thinking, just restrain it in a bit there, Duckett. Watch how the Yorkshire players went about the business. A lot of them started off slow and then managed to pick it up, but great start from Willie.
So Willie is back to his mark. Oh, is he putting a second slip in? No, not a second slip. He's moved a fielder who's out there. Was he on the edge of the circle? On the leg side, and he's putting more. We're going to call that gully. Is that frame down there at gully?
Yeah,
now?
Seems to be like a fly gully.
Yeah.
Open up that mid-wicket region, try and tempt Duckett to play something wild and across the line.
And in and bowls, driven up and over the top of Clark at the other end. That's going to be 4 runs from Duckett, and they'll move up to 5 for 1.
Yeah, it's a much better looking shot from Duckett, just playing straight down the line. Strong shots down the ground, low risk and a high reward. Picked up 4 runs for that. But still attacking field from Yorkshire. Willie's persisting with the slip and a gully, keeping that mid-wicket region open, seeing if he can tempt Duckett into playing a loose shot across the line.
Rate required is 10s, so that's all nice and steady. They've got to just make sure they don't go too high above that. And this one is cut and carved nicely by Duckett. Too much width. And Duckett will get himself a 4. It all goes very quiet around the ground. It doesn't sound as if too many of the Outlaws supporters have made the journey here, which you're not probably going to be able to do on Monday, in fairness, Monday night. But plenty of Yorkshire support, and they want to cheer their team on here. Of course, it's 2 former Northants players out there right now in Willie to Duckett.
Yeah, and that early buzz that the Hales wicket created has just gone a little bit quiet now after back-to-back boundaries from Duckett.
I reckon it's because a lot of this crowd know that you get rid of one and another big one comes out, another potentially dangerous batter. And that's what you got in Ben Duckett. He's on 8, and Willie now bowls to him. And he doesn't time that. Just squeezed out there on the leg side. Perhaps pretty close to getting through. The crowd applaud though the over, because he's got rid of Alex Hales. It's gone for 9 runs, 9 for 1. Clark on 1, Duckett 8. And they need another 194 to win. And they've just got to be, as you make the point, you know, for all the talent, this has got to go fairly deep, fairly deep here. From Notts' point of view, and by that I mean the fact that even if they get off to a really good start, there'll still be so much work still to be done. You cannot let up.
Yeah, they've got to go at a high rate consistently throughout the innings, and you've got to bat long. That'll be the first thing they'll be thinking. We've got to make sure we use all these overs and take it the full length. Yorkshire should be hoping to keep them quiet and pick up another couple in the power play, because it's a good start from Willie. Got rid of the dangerous Hales, who's exactly what you see back in the shed, but it's a very experienced batting lineup from Notts, and the big names just keep coming every time.
They certainly do. They certainly do. Dominic Drakes is going to bowl over here. He bowled, he made his debut on Friday night. And he comes in now, left arm to bowl to Clark, the right-handed Clark, on the toes. Whipped away for 1, possibly 2 out there through mid-wicket. It is 2. Clark to 3. And the Outlaws move to 11 for 1 against Durham. 2 for 43, part of the Gujarat Titans team who won the IPL. He was a non-playing member of that squad, and therefore in terms of first team cricket that he'd played previous to last Friday, you have to go back all the way to February when he played for the West Indies against India, but it still turned out with a 2 for 43 on his Yorkshire debut on Friday. He's in and bowls to Clark now on 3 down the leg side. Always got to get that right. Leg side wide, confirmed by the umpire Middlebrook. But we've seen a few players come from the IPL, non-playing members, so it's not exactly that the bank manager is particularly upset about their time out there, and we hear so much about the experience you pick up and what you learn, But it must be really tricky when you then move on to another team very quickly, and you've not been playing too much cricket. In and bowls and pushed into the offside for no run. I mean, how much do you notice the difficulty in getting going again if there's been a period of time that you've not been playing? Is that something you really do find an issue? Or?
Yeah, definitely. It's game time's such a different beast to training. You can train all you want, but there's nothing quite like creating these scenarios where you need to perform under pressure and you've got something to play for. I saw Finn Allen had a similar experience in the IPL, not playing all that much, and he said he basically had a 10-week training camp, which is great for some things, but there's nothing quite like game time.
Okay, next delivery bowled, hit hard and firm by Clark on the offside. It's David Willey will get round to his left, come back for a second. The throw's not particularly good, so they make comfortably 2, and the score to 14 for 1 midway through the second over. Yeah, it must be tricky. Must be tricky. However, there are others. Tim David will be the case in point. He's very much part of the IPL. He comes from straight into Manchester, and he really does pick up just exactly where he left off in India. Completely different conditions and everything, but still striking the ball beautifully. That's down the leg side, helped on his way. Has that been caught off the glove there of Clark? He's gone! What a catch by the keeper, Tattersall! What a night it could be for him and for his team as well. That's a glove. Wow, what a take low to the left. Now, Clark is walking off really slowly. Is he wondering whether it did come up? Well, is he wondering whether the catch was taken off him properly or whether he did get a glove to that? For me, live, I thought that's exactly what did happen. I couldn't quite believe the agility of the catch from the keeper taking it low down.
Yeah, I thought that was for sure racing away for 4, and Tattersall took a while to get up and to show that he took it cleanly, so I think Clark was hanging around to see that, and you always do wonder if it managed to get through, and you're disappointed when you do strangle those ones down the leg side to the keeper when you know it was probably a gimme and you should have got some runs for it.
I think we're watching the right. No, this isn't the right replay here. We're going to, but keep her on that, Katie, because I want to have a look at that replay again if we can in our own time here. If you are watching it at the moment, you may not be seeing this at the exact time that we are, but I want to have a look at that again just to see on what grounds Clark may have been wandering. He walked up very slowly. It was a very. I'm not saying there was any descent as such, but he.
No, he wanted it checked, didn't he? And obviously, no Sky cameras here tonight to do that.
Umpire Baldwin, it was at square. We see live here now, though. Drake coming in and bowling. Oh, bowled him! 2 in 2. He's on a hat-trick. Patel has gone first ball. Inside edge onto his stumps. Drake's 2 in 2 on a hat-trick for the Vikings, his new team. He's not here for long, but he's making his time count. 14 for 3. 1 ball left of the second over.
Wow, he's showing he doesn't need game time necessarily. We're saying when you feel ready, it's best when fresh, and sending Patel straight back as well. This is such an experienced Nottingham batting lineup. We're just seeing them all depart one after the other, and 14 for 3. It's a great start by Yorkshire. We'll be thrilled, and Headingley crowd are loving it.
He is on a hat-trick indeed. I'm just taking a look at that first wicket he got again. You know, Clark had looked round. He was already looking around, which is a bit of a giveaway, so they say. He had a very clear sight of that, and that catch, which I'm presuming that the square leg umpire said was taken cleanly by Tattersall. He was walking off a little bit slowly there. It's one I will need to see over and over again, but do you know what? I haven't got time right now, because we've just seen another wicket immediately after that. It's Patel, who's just been bowled by Drakes for naught. This is a hat-trick ball, and facing it is Stephen Mullaney. The Outlaws are 14 for 3. This is just the second over. And the applause go up from the crowd. They're going to get behind their new man. Drakes from the Kirkstall Lane end. Everybody's had a word or two of advice for him. The crowd are behind him with the applause as well. They're cheering him on. Hat-trick ball, Mullaney facing. Drake's bowls in, bowls, and that's through to the keeper. Not a hint of him putting any bat on that. The crowd having a wonderful time, and it's the end of the over. And that's David Willey just comes and gives him a low 5. 14 for 3, Duckett 8, Mulaney on naught. What is it about, and over there, just sitting there from Drake's, tell us from your perspective what you like about what you've seen from Drake's, not just the wickets, but the way he goes about his bowling.
Yeah, he's a good aggressor for Yorkshire up top. He's bowling nice foil to Willie at the other end, and he looks to be bowling good pace. It's what Yorkshire have lacked in the last couple of games. We had Harris Ralph, obviously, and we lost him, and we needed another quick up top, and he's bowled a really good line there, and he's challenged the Notts batters, made him have to think about it. Clark certainly thought about his dismissal for a little while and didn't want to wander off, but there was no questioning Patel's as his stumps went.
No. So, Willie's going to come in and bowl to Duckett, and Duckett's not quite ready. He signals something behind, but I'm not too sure there was anything going on behind. He just wasn't thinking.
Yeah, I was looking out into the crowd. I thought, is there a steward or something in front of the sight screen? But there's nothing. I think maybe just trying to slow the game down a bit, get a little bit of ease a little bit of the pressure. Don't let Yorkshire capitalise on these wickets.
Yeah, Yorkshire with the momentum. Willie in and bowls. Oh no, what a delivery. Shape away, movement away. Very nearly gets something on that. This is top quality bowling here from Yorkshire first up. 14 for 3. Chasing down 203 if they can, the Outlaws. But they're under pressure.
Yeah, and Duckett showed he's not going to be afraid to play some shots. He's had a couple of loose, wild shots outside that off stump, but will he be happy to see it because he's got that slip in, still got an attacking field, and he'll be looking to find that outside edge.
So it's Willie coming in past the umpire now. He's going to bowl to Duckett, who's on 8, driven, and a good stop, and therefore they won't be able to get a run there. So I mean, look at that Patel wicket again, big, thick inside edge onto his leg stump, and out it goes, off he goes.
Yeah, we've talked about batting long and how it's still got 20 overs to do this, but the Notts batters have come out in a fashion that they're not afraid to play shots. Even that last one from Duckett went at it hard. It didn't quite carry to extra cover, but he's happy to be playing shots early on.
Willie to Duckett, bowls fairly close to the body, but he's able to cut that ball for a single, and he moves up to 9 and 15 for 3. I'm just going to try again and have a look at that dismissal. I'm really interested. I think the point of discussion is whether Tattersall got along to his left-hand side to take that catch. I think he, yeah. Well,
I think he did. He was really happy with it. I think it's the length of time it took him to pop back up. There was always a bit of an element of doubt.
Mulaney's on naught, and this delivery. Oh, that's a lovely shot from Mulaney. Glorious through extra cover. 4 runs. 4 runs for the Outlaws. Do you know what? Looking at that replay though of that dismissal, Tattersall took the catch of Clark. I didn't fully appreciate how much ground he had covered to get across. Did you? Well, you would have known. An amazing amount of ground.
Yeah, he's an agile boy, and he already had to make movements before putting in that full-length diving catch. And I'm trusting Tattersall. He's an honest lad.
Oh yeah. No, I'm just looking at all the details of that dismissal because it was an interesting one, and Mulaney pushed into the offside, and there will be no run. But it was so low down with those gloves, so low down, which makes it the super take, the super grab, and the distance he covered.
Well, he'd be happy to put in a good performance with the gloves as well so far. He's done it with the bat in the first innings, and like we said, he'd lost the gloves at the beginning of the year to Tom Kohler-Cadmore, so he'll be wanting to prove a point about what he can do and try and stake a claim for his place in this side going forward.
Mulaney's on 4. Willie bowls to him now, defensively, really into the offside. They've got to stop and check themselves a little bit here, the Outlaws. After 3 overs, 19 for 3. Another 184 needed. Duckett on 9, Mulaney on 4, but just like the runs need to keep on coming, so do the Outlaws batters who are capable. And right out there, right now, they're 2 still more than capable of, from this distance, seeing the Outlaws home. Duckett on 9, Mulaney on 4. We talked about Tattersall and his batting. A reminder, 48 not out of 30 balls, 2 4s, 2 6s for Tattersall. And this was after the Yorkies have found themselves in a little bit of bother, really. I mean, 123 for 4, the big names, if you like, if you'll excuse me using that term. We're back in the hutch. the likes of Finn Allen, Adam Lyth, David Willey, Harry Brook. So it was Frayne who did a good supporting role, along with Tattersall, who went on to get those runs. Drakes is back. What's he going to do now? First over, 2 for 5. He was on a hat-trick at one point, and he comes in now to bowl to Duckett, who's on 9. It's the left-handed Duckett. Left arm of Drakes cut to the man at deep backward point for a single. And they move on to 20 for 3, the Outlaws, in the chase. Vitality Blast night tonight here in Leeds. Plenty more action. I thought we were going to spend the interval actually talking about what's coming up here in the week, because it's a busy week of Vitality Blast cricket. I'll maybe do that a little bit later on, but we did mention the fact, for the listeners to BBC Radio Leeds, the Yorkshire listeners, got 2 big games for Yorkshire coming up. Next delivery, good and straight on the leg stump, and just turned around there by Mullaney for a single. If you can get along to the Roses match on Wednesday, well, please do. Should be a great night. Will we see the same excitement as we saw in Manchester a couple of weeks ago? The tied result. I don't know. I mean, there's already been what I'm prepared to call a Roses success at this ground already this season, has there not?
Yeah, the Diamonds were happy to get one over on the Thunder. We lost to them in their backyard, but we managed to do it here at Headingley a couple of weeks back.
Duckett gets bat on that. Behind square on the leg side, will go through for 1. Moving up to 11, 22 for 3 in the 4th over. Do you know that seems weeks ago? Is it only just a couple of weekends? It is, isn't it?
It seems a whirlwind so far our season. The fact that we've already finished one of our cups, we've already done all the T20 stuff for the Diamonds so far. It's racing along at a quick rate, but it's the same for the guys. They've got fixtures in quick succession.
Champo back on Sunday for a round as well for the men. We've got Mullaney on 5. Drake's bowls to him now. Cut. That's going to be 4 runs. Cut by Mullaney. Over the boundary rope. 4 more. What's next for you then? After your mini break?
Well, straight back into training, and we've got the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy to go for now for a few rounds before we then break for the 100. So it's still a lot of cricket to be played. That
gets broken up this year. A 2-parter for the Hayhoe Flint, yeah?
We have a couple of rounds. End of June and throughout July, then we have a break for the 100 for the girls that are taking part in that as well, and then we come back to finish off in September.
Yeah. So Mullaney on 9. Ooh. Gets some more of a bottom edge, doesn't time that right, back up to the bowler. And in terms of international, got Commonwealths coming up as well as other international matches as well. That should be another wonderful springboard for the women's game, the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham, which is August time, end of July.
Yeah, end of July, beginning of August. Yeah, it's a massive thing for the girls. All England girls are keen to take part in and have a chance to try and win a Commonwealth medal.
Drakes to Mullaney. Oh, that's gone through where there would have been a slip, and therefore it flies down over the boundary into the boards down there at the Howard stand. It's 4 runs. The bowler looks disappointed, puts his hands in his pockets in his frustration. It's 30 for 3. Duckett on 11. Mullaney on 13. 2 for 16 for Drakes from his 2 overs. 173 more needed here by the Outlaws. Both teams in need of a win tonight. There is still a lot of cricket to come. We talked about the Rachel Hayhoe Flint Trophy being split in 2. Well, this is split up as well. There are more games to come after the break for the championship next week. But this is an important week where if you don't get it right this week and you're in that position as these 2 teams are, which is just below the top 4, the all-important top 4, and you slip up this week, you leave yourself with quite a lot of work to do when you get back. So you've got to have a good final week of this first section of the competition. That's what both these teams are after, and this is the start of it tonight.
Yeah, and the fixtures are coming thick and fast, and winning is a habit, and you want to be on the right side of that.
Revis, right arm in and bowls. Oh, he's pulled that away beautifully. This is the danger. It's not. Oh, good stop, Mr. Stewart down there. One-handed, casual as you like. He's standing there, and then he reminds himself, hold on, I'm not supposed to look at the... Do you know, I think about this. They're not supposed to look at the play, you know. Their eyes are supposed to always be on the crowd. But what happens when that ball comes flying out towards you?
Yeah, I fancy having me back to it.
I'd want to be looking there to pull off a great stop. 34 for 3. Revis bowls again to Duckett, who's on to 15. He stays on 15, just pushed into the offside. He sits down again now. He had stood up there, our friend there, who very, very casually just stuck out his left paw and took the ball.
He was enjoying his moment there. I think he stood up for a little bit just to take it in from the crowd, I reckon.
Milk the
They were
applause.
giving him some from the Western Stand.
Duckett on 15, 34 for 3 in this fifth over. Now this is a catching opportunity. Tattersall says it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Revis strikes this time for Yorkshire. Duckett is the man who's out, and the Outlaws are in trouble. 34 for 4 in the fifth over. They still need another 169. Tattersall is bossing tonight.
Absolutely cool as you like there. He was very quick to put his name on it, make sure that everyone knew that he was taking that one, and it looked like at one moment it went so high up in the air, it went over his left shoulder, and then he had to readjust and take it over his right shoulder, but it's a good catch. He might be wearing the gloves, but they're still hard to take those, especially under the lights into the white sky.
The man who leaves, Ben Duckett, he would have been proud of that with the gloves on, as he sometimes has. The man who replaces him would have been proud of that, who also wears the gloves in Tom Moores. But both of them would prefer it if it had not happened on that occasion.
Yeah, keepers
Duckett.
union goes out of the window, doesn't it, there, when you're the one batting.
Duckett caught Tattersall, bowled Revis, he's gone for 15. Moores goes out to join Mullaney. Hard work this for the Outlaws now. But again, out comes another batter, more than capable. After 4.3 overs, Yorkshire Vikings 43 for 2, the Outlaws are 34 for 4. So on both counts, it's not looking good from their point of view. Wickets lost, runs behind. The run rate required is still at 10.9. That's sort of workable, but the 4 down, not good. Revis in, bowls to Moores on the leg stump. Tickle around the corner. They will should get a comfortable, steady 2 here. Plenty of energy out in the field for Yorkshire. So Moores is off the mark with 2. 36 for 4. Dorji was always supposed to be coming in to see off the game, but we thought that would be between overs 15 and 20 as this next delivery is bowled and it's played by Moores out there for a single. If we're not careful, you could be calling this out in the next 5. I don't think that's going to happen somehow. I think the Outlaws have got too much about them for that. But they are in a spot of bother right now at 37 for 4.
That's a big call. Notts won't be too pleased with this start, but it's so easy to score runs here at this Headingley ground like they've seen in the last couple of games. I don't think run rate will ever be an issue really. It's that wickets column that'll be troubling them, but they've got so much experience still to come. It's still evenly poised, but Yorkshire's slightly the happier of the two.
Mullaney's on 13. Revis to bowl this final delivery of this first over. Turned by Mullaney into the onside. 37 for 4. Mullaney on 3. Moores on 3. Revis has bowled 1 over, 1 for 7. Drake's 2 overs, 2 for 16. Will we see him, or will I think David Willey's going to bring himself back on? The bowling changes here. Anyway, a word or two from you, Katie Levick, and then it'll be Jonathan Deutsch back with you.
Yeah, well bowled from Revis there. Managed to pull back his over, went for a boundary early on, and he kept his composure, kept his cool, found that wicket of Duckett. Big wicket, and for Notts to be 4 down inside the first 5, it's huge for Yorkshire. First and foremost, we wanting to get those wickets. Runs, can come easily, so they won't be too troubled by the fact that they're not that far behind where Yorkshire are at this stage, but 4 down is the all-important thing.
Here he is then, the Vikings skipper from the Kirkstall lane end of the ground, and Tom Moores pushes out into the offside, the first ball of the over, and there's no run. Big negative, isn't it, losing 4 wickets in a power play, and when you look down the list, there ain't too many top 4s in world cricket that you'd want to lose that'd be massively stronger than Joe Clark, Alex Hales, Ben Duckett, and Samit on his day as well. He went first ball, of course, and David Willey in again. Moores just chopping that one into his pads. No run. Tom Moores, as Kev was saying, can play. Had a century against Yorkshire at Trent Bridge in red ball cricket during the last season or 2, I seem to recall. Stephen Mullaney as well. very handy, but it's a mountain to climb at the moment. DLS on the board says that they should be at 74 now. That is just a bit of an appreciation of the task that they face, having lost the 4 wickets, as this one's run down backward of point for a single by Moores. 38 for 4. He's on 4. Mullaney on 13. Right hand, left hand combi, of course. The right hander is back on strike. Still in the power play, with men dispatched square-ish backward of point, really. Looks like Matthew Revis out there in the distance. And Jordan Thompson, square leg boundary. Willie, left arm over the wicket. It's going to be dropped out towards square leg. Frane's going to get across there and field it. They're going to get through for 1.
It's a very good start from Willie at this end. He's made them look uncomfortable for the batters. He's not giving them anything. He's tucking them up. He's only letting them have the singles, and the run rate will be just in the back of their minds, as well as so desperately not wanting to go out and lose more wickets in the power play. They'll still have to be thinking about run rate as well.
Yeah. 11.44 required from here on in, as Willie is in, and that's dropped into the pitch by Moores. So good stuff from David Willey in this over from Yorkshire's point of view so far. Still to come, the very dangerous Dan Christian next. Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher, Matthew Carter, and then Jake Ball for Nottinghamshire. They've got to be circumspect now to some extent. They've got to, in their world, I suppose, they want to get past halfway without losing another wicket at the very least. Well beyond that if they can, and start to build something this too and get going. Yorkshire, of course, will just want to keep chipping away and breaking partnerships, or reducing them to singles like that, which was pushed up to Drake's at mid-on. So end of the over, end of the power play. At the end of that point for Yorkshire, they were 54 for 2, so 14 runs short of that Nottinghamshire, and have lost 2 more wickets.
Yeah, wicket's the all important thing. Picking up 4 in a power play is massive for Yorkshire, especially when the 4 who are back in the shed have all got such big experience and can easily be destructive and do it on their own. We've watched Hales take games down on his own many a time. To see him back in the shed first ball was massive for Yorkshire, and Willie's bowled a great opening 3 overs. Really kept the runs down, picked up those wickets, and put Yorkshire in a fantastic position. They'll be the much happier of the 2 coming out of the power play now.
So Jordan Thompson coming into the attack after the power play ends. He is going to bowl from the Howard stand end, changing in the field as you might expect now, because not just the 2 outside the circle. There are 5, and Jordan Thompson right arm over the wicket to Moores, who lays his bat on that one nicely. Superb piece of fielding by David Willey at point, and he was gone for all money had that one hit direct. Stephen Mullaney, he wasn't even trying to get home. He knew that his goose was cooked. Had Willey's left arm throw hit the wicket, and you see David Willey hit so many times in the fielding drills before matches. Just didn't have the radar quite right then, or it would have been 5.
Yeah, it's a terrific piece of work though in the field by Willey. Such an athlete, getting that big paw on it to stop the boundary, which looked inevitable, but then to spring up and have a shy at the stumps. You could only see one stump, of course. It'd been a great run out if he'd have managed it, but put a doubt in the Notts batters' minds now.
Thompson then to Mullaney, who's just defending this out into the offside where Rashid fields. Jordan Thompson, real good record when bowling over number 7 for the Vikings. He's taken 3 wickets in over number 7. That's in 14 matches, but he's only gone for 6.8, and at this stage of the game Yorkshire would be delighted with a 6.8.
That'd be a great
Keep
over.
ramping up the run rate required by the Outlaws. Here he is again, and that one just fading down the leg side, unfortunately for him. He's going to concede the wide. 4 of those bowled during the Yorkshire innings. 16 extras in total conceded by Nottinghamshire. 5 byes, 5 leg byes, 4 wides and 2 no balls. And 2 wides so far gifted by Yorkshire back to their opponents. This one, of course, the only match taking place in the Blast this evening in either group, as Mullaney gets this one top of the bounce, works it into the leg side. Moores is coming back for a second. Will Frane's quick across the ground, but Moores was even quicker still and manages to help his partner get back for 2.
Yeah, and he just keep rotating the strike if they can. Notts, it's gone a little bit quiet on the scoring front. Yes, there's still a lot of overs to go, and they'll be wanting to try and consolidate and build a partnership, but you don't want to see that run rate get up to a bit where it's unachievable.
Thompson into Mullaney. Didn't know too much about that. He dropped it square on the leg side for 1. Big week this for, well, both these sides, as I think Kev was alluding to. Yorkshire and Nottinghamshire coming into this game with 5 points apiece from 5 matches played. They've won 2, lost 2. Nottinghamshire had 1 no result. Yorkshire, of course, tied that other game against top of the table Lancashire, who they play here at Headingley on Wednesday night. And they would love to go into that match with a win, a real confidence-boosting win against a team who they haven't beaten in T20 cricket since 2017. Thompson's latest delivery is just worked squarish on the offside there by Moores for a single, 46 for 4.
The Yorkshire team was doing a fantastic job for them so far. Saw in the Notts innings, it was the spinners that had to try and pull it back a bit and contain it. We've still got Rashid and Shutt to come on and bowl those important middle overs, so really great start for Yorkshire.
Jordan Thompson, can he get out of the over without a boundary? The answer to that is no. He's just been uppercut over the top of short third man, and he just gives himself a little tap on the head in disappointment because he got to the 5 balls gone with 5 from him, I think it was. No, it can't have been 6 from him because he's gone for 4 there, and it's 10 off his first over.
Yeah, his radar just went a little bit loose there, give him some width, short, wide, and you can throw your hands through that and get full value for your shot. The Yorkshire seamers have shown to be a lot more dangerous when they've been getting it in at the batters. Keep them tucked up, don't give them free rein of their arms, because so far this pitch, it is a nice pitch and it does play quite true.
So the winners tonight will undoubtedly progress a little further up the table. If it happens to be Yorkshire, then because of their net run rate, we already know that they would go into 3rd place ahead of Northants. Nottinghamshire, well, it would depend, I guess. But they're going to be there or thereabouts for 3rd or 4th. Now then, he's got right underneath his first Adil Rashid delivery, a full toss, Tom Moores, and a top edge, and the easiest of catches for Dominic Drakes. And so a 5th Nottinghamshire wicket goes down with just 50 on the board. Lev, they're in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah, Moores is so disappointed with himself there. You don't get many freebies from Adil Rashid, and a full toss first up. He knows that should have gone, and he's just found the top edge instead, and it's a soft dismissal. He'll be bitterly disappointed in himself, and as he slowly trudges off, you can tell that's the case. Brings in Dan Christian, who's such an experienced player, played all around the world in all the franchises, and he can be so dangerous, but he won't want to come in this early with still a massive mountain to climb for his Notts side.
Yeah, Nottinghamshire, by the way, just to try and give you comparisons as we go along, they got to the 50 off what was the final ball of the 7th over, 6.6 then, which was fully 9 balls later than Yorkshire got to the same point, but at the point Yorkshire got to their 50, they were just the 2 down. Notts were 4, but are now 5, 1 ball later. 50-4-5. This is quite difficult to believe when you've watched Yorkshire play Nottinghamshire in this form of the game in recent seasons, but it's not done yet. Wide delivery from Rashid. It would have been a wide, I think, if he'd have left it there. Dan Christian, but he tried a flat bat.
Yeah, that's a good dot ball for Rashid, not so much for Christian.
So wicket dot, another wideish delivery. That's something similar to, I think, what he was trying to play to the ball before. Dan Christian, he's got it away beyond the would-be grasp of Will Frayne, who's at extra cover, and he's picked up his first runs with a 4.
Yeah, Rashid didn't look too happy about that, but he's not found his radar quite yet. Full toss to start off with and a couple of wide deliveries. Christian did exactly what that deserved and dispatched it for 4. It needs to be a lot tighter here, Rashid.
And that is a lot tighter as well. From this distance, I couldn't tell you what Adil Rashid's just bowled. You might be able to tell us, Lev, but Dan Christian missed it.
He bowled a
Not
very
with my
good
eyesight.
ball. He bowled a dot ball. but that's much more like the Rashid we're used to seeing.
So here is Rashid again. And Christian this time just steps into it, pushes it along the deck to Adam Lythe, who's out there at long off. They'll settle for just that one boundary and a few singles in the over, and the run rate with every passing delivery at the moment is mounting up. 12.16 asked of Nottinghamshire with just the 5 wickets remaining. DLS reckons they should be on 99 at this stage, but they are 55 for 5. Rashid in again. Stepping back this time, Mullaney opens the face and runs it out to Revis coming in off the cover boundary. And a single to complete a very good first over by Adil Rashid. 1 over, 1 for 6.
Yeah, the Headingley crowd are really appreciative of that Rashid over. 1 for 6. Probably doesn't show how he had a couple of looseness to start the over, but the all important thing is he got that wicket and he kept those dot balls coming. Notts will know one of these two at least will need to bat long and bat through if they've got any chance of chasing down Yorkshire's total, and they're more than capable of doing it, but got shut on from this end now as well, who will be looking to just try and strangle this game in the middle overs with spin like Notts did.
Now Jack Shutt, who's of course Yorkshire supporters will know, has been around a fair few seasons now. Took a 5 for on his debut, I think it was, up at Durham. Or if it wasn't his debut, it was one of his early matches a couple of years ago. That stepping little run up that he's got, first delivery is pushed back up the pitch to the bowler by Mullaney. Good to see him back and having a go. Obviously we hope that Don Bess, that little tweak will be sorted soon. But an able deputy in Shutt, who's in again, and once more Mullaney can't beat him with a push anywhere for even a single. Made his debut against Lancashire, so it wasn't against Durham that he took his 5 for, but he made his debut at Old Trafford against Lancs July the 25th, 2019. And the last match he played in was also at Old Trafford, September of 2020, so missed out on all Yorkshire's T20 matches last season, Jack Shutt. Back in here tonight as Mullaney works a single square on the leg side.
Yeah, he's unfortunate Shutt that Yorkshire have got quite a few high-class spinners now to choose from, and got the internationals of Bess and Rashid at the disposal in this competition so far. He's got to make sure he tries to take his opportunity while he can in the side tonight, and he's got off to a good start so far, keeping Notts quiet. Just the 1 run from his first 3 balls.
Here's Shutt again. That's worked nicely into the leg side by Christian, but they're going to need more than working singles, Nottinghamshire, and that's the pressure that's on them now. Can Yorkshire see this through? As I say, it's a big week, this, isn't it, when you consider that Lancs are coming here on Wednesday. Not just that rivalry, but trying to knock them off the perch, off the top of the table. As Shutt's in again, and with an open face, that is pushed out to the sweeper coming in off the cover boundary, and they'll pick up 1 more. And then Birmingham, who are second in the table at the moment, down at Edgbaston on Friday night. Here comes Shutt, driven down, straight down towards the Howard stand end by Christian. And a nice bit of teamwork in the field, scooped up by the diving Jordan, no, it wasn't Jordan Thompson, Harry Brook perhaps.
Yeah,
and they returned the ball for the concession of just the 1.
Yeah, like you said, a massive week of fixtures against 3 teams that arguably have dominated white ball cricket in this competition in the last few years. Notts, Lancashire and Birmingham always seem to be there or thereabouts for finals day, and Yorkshire never quite managed it. And the promise that they have when you look at the squad, so Yorkshire will be looking to come off this week with a couple of victories and head into some momentum.
And a bit of embarrassment, of course. They were absolutely annihilated at Edgbaston last year, so they'd love to go back and put that one straight. And you never want to get carried away talking about Yorkshire and T20 cricket, because you just have to look at the record as this first delivery by Rashid has been dispatched over long off for 6. That is a powerhouse shot by Dan Christian.
Got a double teapot from Rashid, but I don't think it was all that worthy. It was wide, he allowed Christian to have his hands and put a swing through it, and a bit of a freebie in the end, looking to get a lot tighter in his lines and really trouble Christian.
is Rashid in again. This time tightens up Christian, who's worked it out to Revis, coming in off the point boundary. So 7 off the first 2. But yeah, just going back to what I was saying, you never like to get carried away, and there's going to be changes again in personnel and all the rest of it. But if they could have a huge week this week and win those 3 fixtures, then that would be a massive stepping stone towards quarter-final qualification, as Rashid's in again, and this one has been hacked at as much as anything by Mullaney. We've already seen him play a boundary down there from one of those shots, and he's done the same again. So Rashid going for a few in this over. Nottinghamshire's best over for some time, if not best over of the lot, I think, so far. It is, in fact, their best over of the lot so far. 11 from it, and only 3 balls in.
Yeah, Rashid not too pleased. You're never happy to see an edge race away to the boundary, but that's what's going to happen when Christian's going to play those strong shots and put his hands through everything he can, because he knows he's got to try and get this run rate back in sight.
What's Rashid got as a riposte? He bowls him a leg spinner that turns and goes past the outside edge of Mullaney's bat. 2 to come. 2 dots would be handy, Yorkshire would suggest. Kevin Howell's back in the chair for the next 5 overs after this one's complete, and Rashid again with another regulation leg spin delivery, and that's just chopped away out towards point for a single by Mullaney, who's now on to 29, and it's a good job for Nottinghamshire that he's got that many. Christian just starting to get going on 14, partnership now worth 22, but we're 1 ball shy of the halfway stage, and they still need 131 more runs to beat Yorkshire here to Nottinghamshire Outlaws, as Rashid's in again. Good way to end the over from him. It was a bit of a horror first 3 deliveries, but he's got back out of it. 2 overs, 1 for 18 for him, 72 for 5 at the halfway stage. Nottinghamshire Outlaws. A few words from Lev, and then Kev will be back.
Good finish to the over there for Rashid, showing his quality, finding a bit of turn in this pitch as well, which we've not seen all that much of at Headingley this year, but just making sure that he reminds these 2 batters that he has got a bit of magic in him, and they're going to have to do something special to try and chase down these runs. After a very good over from Shutt, we're seeing him have a change, and Revis is replacing him at the Howard stand end. Spin will be all important through the next phase of the game, so Shutt and Rashid will have a job on their hands to keep these 2 under control, but looking to try and find that we can break this little partnership that's started.
There are plenty of Yorkshire supporters who love the idea of somebody called Shutt playing, by the way. They love their football as well. But it's Revis who's in, and that is pushed up towards so mid-on, and they'll go through for runs there, and the score moves to 73 for 5. Yeah, way before your time. Carl Shutt, Leeds United. Sheffield born, I think. It was Bradford Park Avenue as well. And Bradford City, so it wasn't just Park Avenue, it was Bradford City as well. No relations though, Deutsch. Different. Tell me it's a different family. I don't know why I wanted to be a different family. But Christian on 14, back into him from Revis, and Christian will just push that out into the offside, and there will be no run. Slightly frightening. Just have a quick look here at Carl Shutt. 60 years old now. What's happening to us, Deutsch? We're getting older. That's what's happening. We're getting older. Oh dear. You'll look after us when we get beyond, won't you, Katie? Please tell me that. Please tell me that. Mullaney's on 30, 74 for 5 in the 11th over. Oh, it's in the air, helped on its way. Oh, just now. That is one which he's signalled a 6 for that, and I think that's right. I think that hit the rope. Are you going to back me up on that or not?
I would hate to hazard a guess. I didn't see
anyway,
it's blocked view, but
it's been signalled as a 6, which is the only thing that matters, okay? Because they're in charge out there. They're the umpires, and I think that's a right call.
yeah, there's a few hands on hips from Yorkshire. It was a deliberate shot from Mullaney, just ever so casually scooped over his shoulder.
Indeed, in bowls. He's gone straight this time, up and over, straight, and 1 bounce. It's another 4, so 6 followed by a 4. So things for Yorkshire to think about now here. Along with me, because I've come down here from upstairs without my glasses, so you will have to look after the old man here now, I'm afraid. What does that say? I'll be saying, what does that say? Anyway, 84 for 5. We're in the 11th over. Mullaney on 40. At least I can still see the scoreboard. That's the main thing. Now Revis is on his 2nd over. And he's a tall, strong figure in and bowls, and a good delivery, which still Mulaney is able to push into the offside. So a 6, a 4 and a single. And he moves to 41, 85 for 5 now. Still needs another 118 more runs to win. The light's taking more and more of an effect here, but still it's light. It's midsummer, Katie, it's midsummer. Doesn't feel like it, does it? It needs to warm up a little bit. Christian's on 15. Revis is in and bowls. Oh, good delivery, which is kept out well by the experienced Christian as well. Squeezing it away for a single. Oh, that's a good last ball in that over. 86 for 5. Mulaney on 41. Christian on 16. And Revis has bowled 2 overs, 1 for 21. What you're thinking at the moment? What you're thinking? There's still 117 more needed. 9 overs. Come on. Only one winner, he says, tongue-in-cheek.
You would think that, but it's important Yorkshire don't get too complacent, being happy with the early wickets they picked up. These two can and have done it so many times over the years, and it's a little partnership building now, 36 between them. Mulaney's on 41, and they'll be wanting to see the back of one of these to try and get into the less experienced, not slower order.
Yeah, it is still a bit chilly out, and people just wrapping up. I noticed that the 12th has just come out for the Outlaws there with his gilet on. I've never had a gilet. I think I ought to have one because they look as if they do a fairly decent job.
It's a staple piece of kit, and we request every year for the Diamonds, and yet to get
Is
one.
it? Oh, gosh, me and my mouth. Christian will get bat on that out into the offside, and they'll get 1 run. Staple bit of the fashion wardrobe. You've asked for one, and you've not yet, as a team, been.
It's a luxury. It's a gilet.
Is
That's how
it?
we see it. It's a luxury item.
Oh, not a staple. It's a luxury item.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when you think you know you've made it, when you get a gilet as part of your kit as standard.
I think you've made it. I think the rest of your team, you shouldn't be judged about whether or not have a gilet. Mulaney on 41, and that's a gap which is found down there on the vacant third area. Another boundary here for Mulaney as we're busy talking about gilet. He's scoring runs. Out there is Mulaney here. This pair, whether they be the current captain or the former captain, Mulaney of course is the championship captain. A lot of experience from both this pair, Mulaney and Christian. A partnership of 41 so far. Just hanging in there, the Outlaws in this game at the moment at 91 for 5. And this is Thompson bowling his second over. Good delivery fall and just pushed up to Harry Brook, who comes in off the boundary. He got a few runs there, and I came all the way up from London. I mean, still, he won't be bothered because the Vikings got to win, but he was out there with the bat for very little time. At least tonight he's chipped in with a 40 on, hasn't he? Got a 40 tonight with Harry, and he's out there fielding at the moment. That's long on. 92 for 5, midway through the 12th. And it's Jordan Thompson coming into bowl. Dan Christian driven straight back to Thompson. Oh, very nearly got fingertips on that. This is the stumps anyway. Harry Brook comes swinging round to his left-hand side with a pick-up and throw. And it's 93 for 5.
I think he actually got too much hand on that. I think he guided it past the stumps with that reaction from Thompson, looking for a cheeky little run out of the reverse.
Just a little bit of a flick,
yeah,
just needed.
Deliberate try. They find something Yorkshire, they don't want to let these two settle.
2 balls left to the 12th. Thompson in bowls full. A slower ball, I thought that from Thompson.
Yeah,
Pushed up to Brook, although he's going to get to it first. And go through for 1. So the board for the Outlaws is ticking along, but that required rate is 13.35. Now, you and your other playing colleagues, they tell me when you get in that danger area of over 12s around the 13, you really are up against it. So we've got to put that in context as well. Christian on 18, and he'll find a run behind square on the onside. He'll go through for 1, and he'll keep the strike. He moves to 19. Mulaney on 47. Thompson's bowled 2 overs, 19 runs. So that required rate is in, I reckon that's red zone territory here. I mean, the alarm bells are really ringing and ringing loudly for the Outlaws. Yet there's still something in us that we don't want to call it, do we? You can't call it with that sort of calibre of player out there in the shape of these two.
Yeah,
Let alone what's to come.
Mulaney doesn't seem to have been setting any fireworks off or anything, but he's got a great strike rate so far, which means that run rate is in his grasp and is well achievable. There's an inexperienced spinner for Yorkshire now. They'll probably be looking to target shut, try and smash down that run rate, get a bit more even kilter, but they've certainly rebuilt from where they were about 50 for 5.
Indeed. Jack Shutt with his spin from the far end. In balls, in the air. Is it a catching opportunity? Will it fall? No, it's over the top of the fielder there at long on. It's a 6. For a moment, I do apologise. I wondered if that quite got the legs to go all the way over, but it did. I said comfortably, managed, what, 3 rows back? But when it just crossed the fielder there, it was no way could he have caught that. It brings up the 100 for the Outlaws, okay? 101 for 5. We're in the 13th over, and Shutt is bowling his second over, and it's the second ball of his second over, and he's in and he bowls along the ground, hard and firm. And a single, you see, goes in the tick box for the bowler right now when you've got a rate required like this. That's just 1 run there. 102 for 5 now. And it's Mullaney who's back on strike. Christian has moved to 26, not out. Partnership's gone over 50. We're on to the 52 mark for this 6th wicket between this pair. Mullaney's on 47. And he gets down on 1 knee and he sweeps that one square on the leg side. There's a man out there, he'll just get 1. They'll jog through for 1. They'll be digging deep, this pair, into their vast playing experience of the times that they've been involved with a game, and there will have been of times when they've got themselves out of just this sort of trouble. Christian's back on strike. Mullaney's moved to 48. Christian's on 26. 103 for 5. Shot again, a little bit quicker. Width in the air. I think this is going to fall short. It is. In fact, right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle of 3 fielders out there. Mind you, they came scampering back for a second, and they had to be quick with that throw.
Better throw, and I reckon it would have been a close one there. I think the umpire had to make a decision. Christian certainly looked like he was struggling and continued for a long way past the stumps to show that he'd really put the pedal down to motor through for a 2. A wider delivery from his shot and a wild shot outside off stump. But it looks like they are targeting the youngster like we thought. They're going to have to try and take someone down, try and have a big over, pull it back in their favour a little bit. And you would think this would be the person they'd try and target.
Christian on 28. Shot to come around the wicket, in and bowls, and it doesn't get that much on it, but enough to push hard for 1. They want to think of the second, but good running in the deep from the Yorkshire fielders, which means that they can't get anything more there. Christian will look at the toe end of his bat. You aware of what his nickname is, Dan Christian? Have you heard that one along the way?
No, I haven't, no.
Oh, don't worry. Oh no, don't look out. God, you look frightened.
I've not done my research.
No. Mullaney on 48. Down on a knee, in the air, over the top of the fielder. Yes, it's a 6. Square, leg side. Shutt can't believe it. Well, I'm afraid it is the truth, my friend. And the bat has been raised here. It's a Mullaney half century. 54 of 31 deliveries from Mullaney, who's holding it together to go with Dan Christian, but it's Mullaney's work really at the moment, which is trying to act as some sort of glue to it all. 44 minutes, 31 balls, 7 fours, 2 sixes. That was the second 6 he's just struck there. The Outlaws 112 for 5. They call him Siri. I think it's a nickname he picked up in Australia.
Siri. Oh, okay. Is he a fountain of knowledge?
Oh, you get up early in the morning to know all these things. Exactly. You know, it doesn't matter what you want to know. He apparently has the answer. In a nice way.
Right, that. Good addition for a pub quiz team.
Yeah, Christian on 29. And hammers this. Big and straight and a 6. Oh. Siri, may we please have a 6? And delivered. All yours. Other such things are available and all that nonsense. Christian moves to 35, 118 for 5. We're in the 14th over. It's Adil Rashid bowling. And he's in his 3rd over. Rashid to Christian on 35. Shorter, pulled away leg side, out towards mid-wicket. Thompson gets down well. Right arm throw, 1 run. 119 for 5.
Very good bit of fielding by Thompson, appreciated by the Headingley crowd. For a moment it looked like it was back-to-back boundaries from these Rashid deliveries, but made light work of it and they just picked up a single. We said Notts are going to have to try and target someone, and it looks like they're going to try and target the spin from either end and batter down this required run rate.
But this is Adil Rashid. And it's Rashid, 1 for 25. Bowls, and that's just stabbed down to Drakes. Can't get that one away. That's a dot ball. And how unfair that they should target the spinners.
It's always the way. No respect.
Do you think that means for every wicket the likes of you and others take, that actually counts as 2?
I hope so. I've got many in the
Well,
T20 Cup if that's the
Well,
rule.
exactly. I think so. This is square from Mulaney. And they come back for 2. They'll have to be quick. They make the ground. And all those runs, I say all those runs, that didn't come out quite the way I intended. Those runs that you've conceded, half of them, okay? You just, at the end of your career, just knock off half of them, because in this format, you're the ones that they've targeted, okay?
Yeah, I'll take that.
To give it a fairer balance. Mulaney's 56 not out, 121 for 5. Back and played by Mulaney out into the offside. But I don't mind these singles. If I'm a Yorkshire supporter here, I'm thinking that's just fine here. Rate required is still 13.14. They're going along at 8. 6 overs to score an awful lot of runs. Mind you, the DLS, they are starting to catch up with that a little bit. Still a long way behind. Christian on 36. Rashid bowls. Nice that from Christian. He just waited for the ball and whipped it away on the onside for 1. But Rashid has got through and over very quickly without major damage. 1 for 29, 3 overs. I say that, I mean, it wasn't a succession of 4s or 6s, and that really is what the Outlaws need. They need a big over, don't they?
Yeah, when you go for a 6 off the first ball as well, you think you're in danger of having that big over, and it can suddenly swing in the batting team's favour. But he did very well there to pull it back, showed his class, and kept them just quiet with just the singles and rotating the strike. He needs someone to back him up from the other end, though, to try and kill this game now. Partnership now 73 between Mulaney and Christian, and they'll want to see the back of one of them to try and make it a less nervy finish.
They will indeed. As we've got Jordan Thompson bowling his 3rd over, and he's bowling to Dan Christian. Christian comes down the track, hammers that away. Does he find the perfect gap out there? Yes, he does for 4. Out through deep mid-wicket. It's a boundary for Christian. Still to come batting-wise. Calvin Harrison, Luke Fletcher, Matthew Carter, Jake Ball. Let me tell you now, all of those are capable of hitting a lot of runs very quickly if they need to, and given that chance. I think that Carter has actually opened for the Outlaw. I think he's batted higher up, I think, from time to time. Christian's on 41, and this one is hammered to extra cover. Left arm throw, and that could have been so close as Christian set off, waiting, I beg your pardon, for the single. And he went through it. That's a left arm throw from David Willey, which was not too far away from the stumps. However, Christian, I talk about you having to look after the older people. You know, Christian is getting on a little bit, you know. So a little quick run like that could take its toll. Mulaney on 57. In the air, that's going to be 4 runs. Behind square on the offside. He's a strong competitor, Dan Christian. He will keep going for many years to come, no doubt. But I'm sure as every year goes by, setting off those quick ones every now and then it's potentially dangerous.
He wasn't in a hurry to get back to his crease anytime soon after that. Want to take a little moment, probably just catch his breath, slow down the game a bit, and Notts' run rate is just creeping up, and the required rate's now dropped below 13 again. And
it has, yeah. Mulaney's on 61. Slower ball. Good. Right arm throw. Oh, they're not going to bother. Rashid says no. I'm not going to risk that. They'll go through for 1. They're happy with the ones. Happy with those. 133 for 5. 2 balls left to the 15th. Mulaney to 62. Christian's on 42. Partnership of 83. Katie Levick's alongside. She says they need to see the back of one of these. Well, see the back of both will be really good. The back of one. Let's start off with that.
Don't want to be too greedy to ask for both straight away.
Yeah, well, Thompson is in and bowls full. Out of the way, Mulaney gets the way of that one at the non-striker's end. A relay throw. Oh, a little bit trying to be a little bit too funky maybe down there, because that worked really well. They go through for 2 there. That worked really well, what, about 4 or 5 overs ago, something like that, the relay throw. I'm not too sure if we really needed it on that occasion, but we still got it, and it almost messed up by throwing the ball over the boundary rope.
Well,
Anyway.
Previous one was the momentum he was going that way and he's throwing forward and his dive in all one motion. That one seemed to be doing it just for the sake rather than get up and throw, and almost disaster scenes, and Thompson wouldn't have been happy there if he'd just seen it thrown over the boundary.
No, he wouldn't. Last ball of the 15th over. Drilled along the ground. Good stop by David Willey. It's one run. The stop at extra cover. 15 overs gone. 9 o'clock just turned on a Monday night. Oh, cue a bit of Neil Diamond. The Outlaws 136 for 5, Mulaney on 62, Christian on 45. You don't have to say anything. We'll just let the crowd enjoy the moment and they'll be dodgy with you, okay?
Takes a lot to restrain and not join in the crowd singing. But the Yorkshire DJ realising probably need a little lift here. We need the fans to get on board and help Yorkshire into these final 5. Notts have built a partnership here and kept the game alive. We said if you're going to chase down a total like this, you need to take it deep, and they've got the batting lineup to do that. And these two experienced veterans of the game, Mulaney and Christian, are taking it deep like we said they need to, and they're doing a sterling job so far, keeping it interesting when it looks so one-sided to start off with.
There you go. Alternative lyrics there to Sweet Caroline by Katie Levick. David Fernley's been in touch and says, could you please ask Kev to stop mentioning the word, going to mention it, Dave, Siri. Every device in my house is going mad, he says.
Let's get Alexa going as well then. Let's get a few Alexas in.
So 136 for 4. For 5 even. The right contact lenses in JD. And it's going to be David Willey from the Kirkstall Lane end to bowl the last of his 4. It's over number 16. And it's not done yet. 67 needed off this last 5 overs. And look at the power with which Christian strikes that out to the sweeper Revis on the cover boundary. Hit it so well that they only got the 1.
Yeah, advancing Willey's first ball. He's not happy to just see off Willey, who's bowled a great opening 3 overs. They know they need to take everyone down at this stage and keep it in the game.
So Adam Lyth gets brought up from long off. Everybody on the leg side is on the boundary edge. Long on, straight mid-wicket, deep backward square, fine leg. And Willey bowled it straight at the batsman. Short ball, he tries the ramp shot but misses.
Well bowled by Willey there. I think the batter was looking to maybe try and sneak a no ball in there, but he was very well executed. He followed him, made it difficult to try and get it up and over. Johnny Tattersall behind the stumps. Dot ball.
So short, fine leg now being brought up, or fine leg being brought up short as Lyth is sent out to long off. 137 for 5. Quiet so far this over. Willey in again for, because he's bowled out just a little bit short of length and wide of off stump. We've seen Mulaney play that shot to good effect now 3 times. In fact, that's probably the best in terms of execution that he's done with those 3 boundaries through third man.
Yeah, that's the most deliberate of the 3. Great contact. And raced away for 4, and it'd be frustrating for Willey. You hate to see it go down to that region, but it's very well played by Mulaney. He's going to think of something here to try and get him out.
141 for 5. Willey in, and Mulaney throws the kitchen sink at that one. He's clipped it into his pads. Willey himself has run the full 22 yards to pick up and try and throw down the stumps at the bowler's end. Fortunately, Harry Brook backing up because he missed. And the upshot was that they got 1 there to Mulaney, who's on to 67. Christian 46, partnership now worth 92. And you are not saying never as far as Nottinghamshire are concerned. We know Yorkshire's recent record against them. They would absolutely love to find a delivery to break this partnership right about now. 2 left in Willey's over. In Willey's spell, in fact. That's a good delivery. It's full of length. He can do no more than dig it out. Play it square on the offside for 1.
Yeah, will he be looking to try and take another one with him? He's bowled a great spell so far. Important wicket early on in the power play to get rid of Hale's first ball, and he's kept it really tight for the rest of his overs, but he'll be looking to break this partnership first and foremost, and he's got 1 more ball to try and do it.
1-4-3. The Nottinghamshire score for 5. Willie leaving us behind. And in he comes under the Headingley floodlights. It's full again and wide of off stump. And he's trying to throw down the stumps at the bowler's end. He does so. He's not out. And they've got an extra run for it. And have they? Now then, they're claiming a run out at the other end now as well. Tattersall can't believe that that has not been given by umpire Paul Baldwin, who's standing at the Howard stand end. David Willey couldn't believe that James Middlebrook hadn't raised a finger for his throw that hit direct either. But again, the upshot after all of that frenetic activity out there was 2 runs in favour of Nottinghamshire, who finished the over at number 16 on 145 for 5.
Well, it was all action that last ball. I think the second run out looked like a better shout, the one that went into Tattersall when there's a bit of disarray when the batters are running to a direct hit. But they're both still there, that's the all important thing. Boos rained around Headingley, but not out both ends, and the partnership continues. Sees it rise to 95 now. Run rate is up there at 14.5 and over, but if anyone could do it, you'd back these two. These are the Notts experienced, have done it before. Looks an imposing requirement, 58 off 24 balls, but never say never in T20.
As it is Dominic Drakes back into the attack at the Howard stand end. First ball turned into the offside by Christian, and they've got through for 1. Drakes' ball overs, what, 2 and 4, so it looks like he's going to finish things off for the Vikings. Meanwhile, we have a stray spectator who'd forgotten that his place is over the advertising board on the western side of the ground. It's amazing how you lose your memory sometimes when you're a spectator, isn't it, Lev?
Well, the security were quick to react there. There was a good couple of rugby tackles, took him to the ground. He'd only just made it onto the boundary. That's a slight delay in play now, whilst the Notts batters had a little chat whilst the security dealt with the rogue spectator.
Drake's then, left arm over the wicket, bowling here to Mullaney at 146 for 5. It's up there to hit through the line of, and he's got underneath it, and Adam Lyth had a fairly lengthy chase. It was just always going to beat him over his shoulder, but he was still quick enough to make sure he picked it up off the bounce, and therefore they've conceded just the 2.
Yeah, if anyone was going to pull off something spectacular there, you thought it'd be live, but it just always looked like it was evading him. Not a boundary, which is the important thing for Yorkshire, but promising signs for Drakes that not everything's coming out of the middle so far, so the next one could go to hand.
Drake's in, pulled this time by Mullaney, 6 runs over square leg, and not a good delivery.
No, that had nothing in it, that bounce. It was just short, and it just allowed Mullaney to rock back and pull it into the east stand. I think we've seen so far that it's a much better tactic to employ that full delivery. Willie bowled some great death balls in his last over, right up there, try and get it under the bat.
So here's Drakes again. Mullaney this time driving to extra cover, but David Willey is right there. Johnny on the spot to do the fielding. Top ball. We'll welcome every single one of those at the moment.
Yeah, rich round of applause there for a dot ball. The Yorkshire crowd are happy to see that much fuller delivery. That's what's going to be more effective at this stage of the game. And we're going to need quite a few more just to keep some Yorkshire hearts going.
Breaks again, and this time Mullaney's got it away backward of square leg. Well worked, but Revis was quickly across the Headingley turf to field. They get just the 1. The 150, by the way, Yorkshire got to that in 15.5. Nottinghamshire were only 5 deliveries behind at the same stage, getting closer.
We said runs are so easy to come by on these Headingley pitches that won't be too worrying for Notts. It was always that wickets column, but they've managed to stem the flow here and build a partnership of over 100 now.
And Christian steps right across outside off stump, gets a full length delivery. That's good bowling by Drakes. Just a bit disappointed to have conceded the 6, but they got a single off the last ball. 17 overs bowled, so 18 balls remaining in the match. They're 156 for 5, so 11 runs from it, and they need a further 48 to win. No, 47 to win in 18 deliveries.
It's a big ask, but it's certainly doable, and if anyone's going to do it, it's going to be one of these two. Mulaney's been seeing it nice this evening. He's got 78. Christian's there with him on 49. And this Notts team in previous years have always seemed to just find a way in white ball cricket, and they've been a real force in the blast. York should be looking to try and break the duck against the Outlaws and try and pick up a victory, which looked really strong in that power play, but it's just getting a bit nervy now in these finishing overs.
Jordan Thompson, Kirkstall Lane end, full and wide of off stump, but not wide enough to be given a wide. It was comfortably inside the line, but a valuable dot ball.
Very well bowled there. I think they've realised they need to get it right up there and make it difficult for these two to try and sneak under the bat. Anything short's just sitting up in this pitch and is being sent into the stands regularly.
So here is Thompson again, and another full-length delivery. It's got it away down the ground though, and it's going to be 4. You might have heard the thud into the covers beneath our feet in the commentary box. And Christian brings up a half-century and raises his bat to some deserved applause from the crowd, because it's been a very good knock by Daniel Trevor Christian. And that is his 17th T20-50 to go with 2 centuries he's scored. And he's still giving his team some hope here. Thompson then. Christian uses his feet to come down the wicket. He's got it out square on the offside, but he's hit it so well again that the fielder parading on the boundary, Matthew Revis, has managed to cut it off for 1.
Good bit of fielding and a very good throw in to stop any chances of a 2. The Yorkshire crowd clapping everything now. Ones and dots are our friends, and they're happy to see them coming in.
The 50 for Christian came up in 31 balls, 3 4s and 3 6s, 37 minutes out there. Oh, now then he's given Jordan Thompson a wide here. James Middlebrook. Not sure about that, Midders.
I wasn't given that, and I think Thompson's got a right to be aggrieved there. It was close, but I thought he was just going in the bowler's favour, and he looks ever so disappointed. Thompson, head back, angry, and I can imagine this next ball's going to have a little bit of extra in it.
Just needs to keep his cool. Stay focused. Composure at this stage for Yorkshire. 42 needed off 15 by Nottingham. So that's a good response by Jordan Thompson. Nearly knocks Mulaney off his feet. It was speared in towards them. Yorker length delivery. To be fair to the batsman as well, he played that well, didn't he, to get it away through mid-wicket for a single.
Yeah, that just seemed to be following him and heading straight for his toes. Managed to squeeze it out to that deep square leg, and the Yorkshire crowd were appreciative. They know that was a very good reply from Thompson after the wide, the previous delivery.
But Notts taking this game deep. 40 off 14. 17.14 and over they need. Thompson in, it's hoisted away out into the deep on the offside. There's a slight fumble, but fortunately for Revis, who did that, they weren't pushing hard for the second. They settled for the 1.
I don't think he picked that up initially. Seems to take him a couple of moments to react. The ball was coming his way, but no harm done in the end. Got a great arm on him, and they know now that they can't get to him when it's out there in the deep, when they hit it so well.
Jordan Thompson, last ball of his spell. And again, this has been hoisted out the same way. Revis underneath it and takes the catch, ends the partnership, and may, but only may, have ended this match as a contest. Very important that partnership was broken. It was Mulaney who's gone. Superb knock from him. Caught Revis, caught Allen in fact. Finn Allen it was out there on the boundary, my apologies. Bowled Jordan Thompson for 79. And that's bang on 18 overs gone now. 39 still needed. Mulaney, 79 off 46 deliveries. And if his team win, well, he's POM, isn't he, with this run chase. And if they don't make it, then nobody can blame him. He's played a tremendous knock.
Yeah, put in a good shift there. Not quite to be at the end. It was going to take something special to dismiss him, and it was a good catch out there in the deep. Thompson, who'd been relatively quiet this game, usually the one that makes something happen, finishes his spell with 4 overs, 1 for 40. He'd have been disappointed if he'd not picked up a wicket, but it was a great over, and that run rate pressure just proving a bit too much for Mulaney, knowing he had to try and find a boundary somewhere out of that over. 39 runs still required, just 12 balls to come. Dan Christian's still there, the all-important wicket, he's got 55, but a new batter at the crease with him.
And Jordan Thompson finishing with 1 for 40 off 4 overs. 164 for 6 at the end of the 18th. Christian gets his first Drake's delivery out into the offside, where Willie makes a good diving stop.
And the Yorkshire crowd clapping every single here, every dot ball, every 2, anything that's not a boundary they'll be appreciative of. Drake's has bowled really well so far this game, and he'll be looking to try and finish his spell off strong, really kill the game in this over, make it a real difficult ask for Notts in the last over.
Drake's in again, and an attempted haymaker from Matt Carter. Tried to hit that one somewhere down Cardigan Road, but missed. Another valuable dot. Lily says Yorkshire in great form tonight. Jason talking about the attendances being poor in April and May when the weather was good, saying too many other things tempt people away from the game these days. James Green telling me that I should go racing again because Yorkshire struggle every time I'm on commentary. As Carter gets this up too long off, and Yorkshire will take these singles all evening long. If that's all Nottinghamshire can come up with. 37 needed off 9 now. That wicket feels like it's changed things positively for Yorkshire. James, you've heard that old no, you're probably too young actually to have heard the George Best joke about Bobby Charlton, where he used to say Bobby got up in the morning, looked in the mirror, smiled and said, thank goodness that's over for the rest of the day. I think that might be James Green. And here's a great delivery by Drakes, and he's bowled him. Christian has gone, he stepped right across to get that away fine. But if you do that, you have to make connection with Willow on leather, and the off stump has gone, and that is just about that, you feel now. Christian bowled Drakes for 56 off 35, including 3 4s and 6s, 166 for 7.
Massive wicket, and now suddenly it's just looking a bit too much for Notts. 37 required for 8 balls and 2 new batters at the crease. Drakes has had a great spell this evening. The Yorkshire crowd are really appreciative of that. For the first time in a while, they would look to be able to celebrate that with a bit more ease, knowing that the victory looks a lot more likely now, and they'll be looking to get out of this over. We said it's a massive over. Try and kill the game before you go into the last. And it looks like Yorkshire are doing just that. 2 balls still to come from Drakes in his over, but new batters in at the crease who are going to have to try and swing and find something from ball 1.
37 needed off just the 8 deliveries. And those early wickets in the end look like they did the trick. Now then, a good Yorker length delivery again. It's very low on the pad where it has struck batsman Calvin Harrison as he's trying to swing it away onto the leg side. Big appeal for LBW by Drakes, but not given by umpire Pollard.
In the end, happy for them just to scamper through for a single. I know that's not enough for them at this stage. Just 7 balls remaining, still require 36 runs to win Nottingham. And Drakes has bowled a great spell so far. We're looking to try and finish strongly here.
Outlaws, 36 off 7. 167 for 7, the left armour. Drakes is in again, swung away into the leg side by Carter. Harrison calling him back for a second, but sent back by Carter, who's disconsolate because his team now need, well, 5 6s and a 4 just to tie this match. 35 to win.
Yeah, massive ask there, and you think Yorkshire have just won the game in that last over. Obviously there's still 6 balls to come, but Drakes has bowled really well there, picked up that all-important wicket, and it's going to be a big ask for these 2 Outlaws batters to try and see their team home now. Matty Revis is going to be taking the final over. Just got to stay calm and make sure he sees his side home to a victory here. The Yorkshire crowd just getting a little bit comfortable in that last over and cheering a bit more, just like they can see the victories within reach now, and it's all ours to lose.
So here he is, Revis, for the final over of the evening from the Kirkstall Lane end. Swing and a miss from Carter first up. And that should be that. 35 needed off 5. Just got to bowl 5 legal deliveries.
You can imagine that's why his captain's saying to him, just gone over for a little chat, just stay calm, young man. Just get it down to the other end.
Carter on strike. Revis in. He's swung this away a long way into the leg side. It will be 6. It is 6. Dropped 3 or 4 yards over the boundary rope, just into the boards. But it won't matter in the greater scheme of things if you can just bowl 4 more legal deliveries.
Yeah, lusty blow that. It got underneath it, went high and long. Maybe an over ago it had worried Yorkshire a bit more, but just got to stay calm, Revis, and execute his skills.
Took a wicket, of course, earlier on, that of Ben Duckett. Now then, he's going to take another one here, possibly. 2 men converging on the ball, which was struck aerially by Carter, but in fact he got it somewhere near the splice, I think, and he didn't even have the legs to make either Harry Brook or Jordan Thompson, who were coming in off their respective boundary positions, but they've got back for 2. 176 for 7. Drake's, by the way, finished with 4 overs, no maidens, 3 for 31. And here's Revis coming in again. Short ball pulled into the offside. That's got a bit more on it, but it's still going to come up short of Jordan Thompson, who's coming in. Doesn't matter. They're just going to get the 1. And just 2 balls left in the match. And this one is going to go the way of the home side. And that's the first time I've been able to say that, commentating on a game between these two sides when it's been here at Headingley. In fact, first time I've been able to call a Yorkshire win in white ball cricket against Nottinghamshire. It's been a drought. Here's Revis in, an attempted scoop shot this time by Harrison, who missed that through to Tattersall, and they scampered through for a bye. And so just the 1 ball remaining, 25 runs needed to win. It's in Nottinghamshire's interests, even if losing, to still whack it out of the park and get that net run rate as good as it can be. And he's pulled this latest one. Thompson coming off the boundary. Good effort in the field to nearly make it, but Carter will finish not out on 12. And Harrison, I think, said not out on 1, but they've taken it straight off the board. It was indeed not out on 1. And the key moment there was that wicket, wasn't it, of Stephen Mullaney after 17 overs and 6 balls, the last ball of the 18th. Dan Christian following 4 balls later into the 19th over. And in the end, Nottinghamshire 179 for the loss of 7 wickets. They have come up short. And Yorkshire with a real confidence-boosting win.
Yeah, the job done. They want to try and get a victory heading into the Roses Clash on Wednesday, and it shows how important that partnership with Tattersall and Frayne was in the middle overs when Yorkshire just seemed to be losing their way a little bit, but they battered deep and they took the game long and they got over 200, and such a high scoring ground that was required to keep this game interesting, because Mullaney and Christian would have worried him for a while in that middle period. But it's a good victory for Yorkshire, stuck at it in both batting and bowling departments, and get that all important victory.
Yeah, because bowling certainly this season, as much as anything, has been, you know, a bit of an issue. I know you've seen a couple of games with me now, and today, you know, looking down those figures, let's go through the Yorkshire bowling figures. David Willey, 4 overs, no maidens, 1 for 26. Good effort. Dominic Drakes, 3 for 31 from his 4. Good effort. Matthew Revis went for 31 from his 3, but took a wicket. Jordan Thompson went at 10 and over as well. 4 overs for 40, took a wicket. And they were just chipping away in that wickets column. Adil Rashid, 3 overs, no maidens, 1 for 29, another good effort. And Jack Shutt, 2 overs for 21. So much more of a collective all-round effort. Nobody's really gone for a huge over this time. And that, you know, when you got those 2 players together, Mullaney and Christian, if they'd come up with a 26 or 28 off and over, something like that, and were going, then the whole complexion could have felt different. But there were just always 1 more wicket's going to tip this back Yorkshire's way seriously, and they managed to get there.
Yeah, it showed real composure from the Yorkshire bowlers. Quite often, Christian and Mulaney took the first or second delivery for a boundary, and you can easily lose your way in T20 cricket there and just leak boundaries, and suddenly it gets away from you a bit. But they stuck to the plans, and they managed to have really good replies every time the Notts batters looked like they might just be getting on top. They always had something to say, the Yorkshire bowlers, and it was a good collective performance by them, set off by a great tone in the power play by Willie and Drakes.
So, to sum things up, well, Yorkshire finished 202 for 5. Harry Brook with 40, 34 for David Willey as well. Johnny Tattersall, excellent effort from him, 48 not out in 30 deliveries, 202 for the loss of 5 wickets, and then chipped away early on in the piece, didn't they? Alex Hales out first ball, Samit Patel out first ball. And not big contributions either from Joe Clark and from Ben Duckett. Stephen Mulaney and then Dan Christian, 76 and 56 respectively, putting on 114 for the 6th wicket, and that just gave you the impression that Nottinghamshire might find a way to get through. But as I say, that wicket of Mulaney, followed quickly afterwards by Dan Christian, tipped the scales in Yorkshire's favour, and they have kept Nottinghamshire to 179 for 7. So a Yorkshire win by 23 runs. And just a glance down at the league table, which is not yet updated, but they will move on to 7 points, and by virtue of a superior net run rate will move into 3rd place tonight, behind Wednesday night's opponents here at Headingley, Lancashire, who've played just the 5 matches for their 9 points. Yorkshire have now played 6 for their 7 points. The Bears will remain in 2nd place, and of course Yorkshire, as I mentioned, have to go there to Edgbaston on Friday night. The Bears 6 points from 8 matches so far. So Yorkshire into 3rd, shunting Northants down into 4th place, and Leicester in 5th, and Nottinghamshire will remain where they started this match with 6 matches now played and 5 points in 6th place in the table. By their lofty standards in this form of the game, that's not a great nearly first half of the tournament, and certainly not wanting to get carried away, as I keep tempering things by saying in T20 cricket with Yorkshire, there's always that feeling of inconsistency. We've seen it in the tournament so far, Katie, but a really good chase to beat Durham on Friday night here, and then tonight putting the runs on the board first, which has usually been their strength here, and then managing to see it through. They've proved they can play both sides of the game, if you like, here, and they should be full of it for the visit of Lancashire on Wednesday night.
Yeah, certainly. There's so much talk around Yorkshire's squad at the beginning of this competition that it looked so strong on paper. You had the likes of Milan and Root at the disposal, along with Harris Ralph and Shadab Khan, and results probably didn't go the way that everyone was expecting, and then they did the job a little bit more difficult for themselves. But they're showing real strength and depth in the squad here, and people are coming into the team and they're stepping up straight away, and getting Willie back into the side as captain has been a real boost for them. And like they say, winning is a habit, and it's all about momentum in T20 cricket when the fixtures come thick and fast, and you've got that first victory on the board this week, heading into another game on Wednesday.
So the momentum with Yorkshire at the moment. Katie, thanks for your company once again and your input. We'll see you on Wednesday night for your... Will it be your first? No, it's not your first Roses Clash, is it? Didn't you do one here last year in that beautiful sunny evening?
No, I've not done a Roses T20
You've not
Clash.
done a Roses? Okay, right.
Champs, yeah.
So good luck charm, I guess, for Yorkshire. And Lev, she's back on Wednesday night. Thanks also for all of his input and contributions to Radio 5's Kevin Howells, and from myself, Jonathan Dodge, and from the team here at Headingley, thanks for your company as well. So please do join us again on Wednesday night. You don't want to miss the Roses Clash now, do you? A tie over at Old Trafford just a couple of weeks or so ago. Can the White Rose bring it home at Headingley again this time? We'll find out on Wednesday. From all of us here, though, at Headingley, it's a very good night to you.